First.
Lucas.
Really? No, Danny first.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry, I couldn't bring that one back together. What's up, you guys? It's Danny Williams,
Lily Price,
and Lucas Tyndall.
Olivia Hunter.
Hey, Olivia and Lily. So Lily is always on the show, but Liv is joining us today, looking pretty in her pink. How y'all feeling?
Feeling great.
I
Feeling
look pretty
good?
in my pink too.
You look beautiful. I'm sorry. First of all,
Gosh,
okay.
She looks
Lily's
lovely.
always here.
Sorry.
Lily's always here.
You look
I'm just
beautiful.
teasing.
We're
I'm just
used to
teasing.
her.
No, Danny looks
Ooh,
beautiful.
we
You
are
should see
dynamic
these
out
eyebrows
here.
over here.
Look at that close-up shot on y'all.
Jealous.
Looking all nice. Look at
Thank
that.
you.
We dynamic out here.
So
Hey.
you made a video yesterday, and I was cracking up, bro.
Were you?
Yes, because I don't know if the people haven't seen it, but I've seen it,
Okay.
and I'm a big Usher fan, and I've always said cruising. What y'all said, cruising?
What's that?
or
What's the name of the
cruising?
song? It's Nice and Slow.
Yes.
He
And I-
said it's 7, and it's crazy. 'cause
He's
that's a-
cruising.
He's cruising.
But that's because it was a time change. Like that's when he was young and he was cruising. Now he's trifling. He like who in the
He
streets?
should be like, who should be
who
looking
is
for
in
nobody.
the
He should be
streets?
settled down by now.
Yeah, I mean,
He should
you
be
know
asking
who's in the
who's
streets. You be giving
streets.
everybody
Oh.
like cherries and all types of
I
stuff.
thought you were saying giving.
Yikes.
Oh, never
Whoa,
mind. I
whoa,
was
whoa.
getting nervous. What
Cherries
are you
and all
saying?
types of stuff. You know who's in the streets. They
Share
coming
this
to you. They're coming to
broadcast.
your concert. They're in the streets. Okay,
Yes.
listen. Yes, cruising. Usher is trolling us.
cruising.
You know what? I
What's
kind of
up?
felt the same way. I feel like he just
Yeah.
got on there just to troll.
It
like,
worked though.
It
got us.
worked. It
'Cause
got
I
us
saw that
talking.
video. I
I
was
mean,
like,
he
what is
always
happening?
gives us something. Like, think about it. Look how long Usher been around.
For real.
True.
And relevant.
Like irrelevant.
Like, for
he
real.
always makes
True.
himself relevant.
Yeah.
So he just needs to get about them streets though.
He do need to get about them streets because
Yeah, so the
That's-
video, so shout out to our new business, Footage Fusion. That was not possible a year ago. I could not have had Usher popping in behind me and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but now that we have put together our business, Footage Fusion, we can do anything.
Look,
So-
look, all in the video.
All in the video, all in the
video.
video, popping up and all of that. Racel, thank you for the love. Thank you for always checking us out. Listen, you guys
Yeah,
jump
good
into the
morning,
comments, say
Racel.
what's up. Share this broadcast to everybody. If you're watching this live or by replay, we want to thank you guys for your love and support of Lucas Live Media, Footage Fusion, Lucas Live News, everything we have going on in the community and here in studio. We're excited to continue to bring you guys great things. It is Friday, March 28th already. It's almost
yeah,
April.
Yeah, it's
already.
Is that crazy?
It's spring.
It is spring.
It
It is spring.
Is this the first day?
No,
Nah,
it was like last week or
but
something.
Oh, it was last week?
Yeah, it was probably a week ago today.
I mean, that's why I
Yeah.
pulled out my light
Your
pink, blazer.
It's time. It's Easter time. You put out
It
your Easter
is.
blazer.
I pulled out my Easter
You pulled out
clothes.
the Easter clothes. The Easter Sunday best. I
All right,
see you
I
out
started
here.
like stand people like the new show like in their like.
I like
private
that, directly
message.
to 'em.
I was like, boo, boo, boo. I just clicked a bunch of people. So if I invited you, good morning, you're welcome.
Yes,
You're welcome.
I like that.
Good
I'm
morning,
gonna do
you're
that too. Yeah, boom. Me too.
Join us. All right, y'all. So
Yeah.
I went and I fished for this video, and y'all let's watch it and then let's have a conversation about it
All right,
together.
let's check
okay?
it out. All right, I'm sending
All
this.
right, Usher.
I'm gonna die. I'm in my drop top. Who's in the street?
No, we're not doing that. No, sir. No, you've been cruising the streets, okay? In the drop top since 7 o'clock. All my life, you've been cruising the streets. One time have you ever asked who's in this? Usher, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I agree.
We ain't doing that.
We're not doing that.
Nah.
He said, all my
Listen,
life.
he's not allowed to do whatever he wants with his own song. That's not okay.
No.
totally
he
not
said,
okay.
He said we're not doing that, and that's why I feel like he was trolling because I was in the comments the other day. And I was like, I said he was tired after a workout or something because he was in a sauna. I said maybe he was just tired.
What did he say?
know.
I didn't even see what he said. I just
Who,
saw the
Usher?
people. Yeah, I just saw everybody commenting about it, and I was like, wait a minute.
I don't even know.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Ronnie. So we looking sharp.
Okay, thank you. We professional out here. We
No.
got the mayor's corner coming up today,
Yes.
which is exciting. Now, if you guys know our mayor, Bill Scheer, he is a down to earth. He's a former steel worker guy, so we don't know that he's gonna be all that dressed up. But we got fancy because
We got fancy.
we had to put some respect
Put
on
some
Yeah,
respect on the
for
mayor
sure.
and his
Here we
communications
go.
director. Christian Turner will be in the building today. We also have two other guests coming here live from Morocco.
Cruising
Okay,
is-
maybe not from Morocco, but they tried to get to Morocco. So we're excited for our guests. We have Latrice and Carlo who are here today. We've been talking about them every week, talking about raising money for them. So and for that trip for this boys basketball team. So we're going to talk about that today as well.
Yes. So I think the debate is cruising the streets. And I think Usher's just trolling
You
to
think so?
who's in the streets because it was just like Lloyd with the 5'2" and the fine 2.
Do you remember that?
He said,
Yes,
Yeah.
I think like we were talking
Where
about
are we?
that.
How tall are y'all? Both 5'2", ain't y'all?
I'm 5'1" and a half.
I'm 5'2".
5'2.5", 5'1". How tall are
I'm
you?
5'4". I'm the tallest chick
She's the
around.
tallest.
I'm 5'4".
Ladies, what's up, Jalen? My man, we're gonna have Jalen on real soon. You guys check him out. He
Is
will
that
have you
the guy
eating food
that
everywhere.
is
Food reviews.
is that the guy that does the food reviews?
Yes.
All right. Never
Controversial
mind. We're
food
not lying. I'm about to say the
reviews.
way he cut that video off
Was
was like, never
hilarious.
mind. He was like, that was some stuff I would have did. Put it up. All right.
He
man.
was like, never.
Y'all
mind.
could just have
That
it.
video
like,
went viral. He got multiple videos going viral. Shout out to him. He
Shout-
is a
that is
Turner. I know
funny.
his family. Man, but he's gonna come on the show. We talked about it. We just got to nail down a date. Maybe next week. I don't know. It's coming soon. We might have to leave some food here live with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know
Yes.
what's up? Y'all down
Yes.
with
Y'all
that?
want
Yes.
to go to like a vegetarian restaurant, vegan restaurant? Don't start talking about me.
Oh.
No, we having chicken.
Who said
fried
oh
chicken and
like
whatnot.
that?
He said it first. I was mocking him.
Oh no, no.
First of all,
Oh, no.
you know what? I'm just say this.
Yes.
When y'all eat anything that I have brought, y'all like it.
True. When
Tiffany,
DJ cooks.
wow.
DJ can cook.
Yes,
bro.
he can, but
That man can cook.
I can
bro.
cook too.
That man can cook. But you can cook.
I
too.
feel like 20 minutes ago you were just saying how you can't cook.
Okay, somebody
Let's
taught
be
me how
honest.
to cook.
Somebody taught me
And
last
there was
night.
another
20
conversation.
minutes ago.
You said you couldn't.
She said last night
I
somebody
was
taught me.
saying what I was saying was I couldn't cook before,
But
I can
last
cook
night,
now.
I like that. That
Now
air
she
is coming
can
through.
But-
She is
Once
great
she
with the air fryer.
got,
I'm
once she
saying,
got them eyebrows done, she was like, I can cook.
I can cook. She's like, I can cook. I can cook. I can cook.
Say, I look cute and I can
I
cook.
That
can
air
cook and
fryer
cook. Right.
is crazy.
Right. What's up, Elise? What's up to our good people over at SCMBA, Stark County Minority Business Association?
Wow.
Shout out to
Salads
them.
is
We hate that we missed their what is it? Their kickoff. But shout out to you guys for your kickoff last night. I hope it was really successful. Shout out to Special Occasions, Henry and Darshanette Zachary, for the wonderful business they have in our community, a minority business in and of itself. What a wonderful thing. We hope you guys send us some clips, send us some information so we can put out some clips and stuff. Footage fusion that thing. We can fuse that thing together and make it happen.
Period. All right,
Yes.
you guys. So this part of the show is our community spotlight and upcoming events. So we want to just keep you guys in the loop on what is going on in the city, what events are coming up, and sometimes just shining a spotlight on a member of our community. So this is Community Spotlight. We'll be right back. All right. Well, it went away. But y'all see, it is Easter time. Easter season is coming
Yes.
up. The holiday is coming up, and we are going to be looking for Easter eggs.
Are we
Yes.
going? We going? Officer Sharp going to be have us out there.
We going.
Kids and
We gotta
adults.
We're going. So this is for the kids. You
Okay,
know, bring
this
the
part.
kids. You know, I seen someone talking about, it's always fun when like you can take your kids to something and there's an adult event after because you don't
That
feel
is-
bad.
Yeah.
You know, you got your kids.
Out the
they,
way.
they got their candy. They have fun. They did their thing, and now we can
Leave
go
them
and
all alone
kick-
now.
Drop them off.
Literally,
Drop them jokers
literally.
off together.
Yeah.
Last year, Officer Sharp did a great job. I had fun.
Yeah, so did
I
I.
had so much fun I couldn't make it to the adult one.
It's true. We called each other. Like, what you do? You like, I'm asleep. I'm like, I'm asleep too.
Man. Reem was out there. Man, my baby went through a lot. I mean, he threw up there, all types of stuff. It was crazy.
Right,
He won a
right,
bunch
right.
of
He had a
prizes,
great
didn't
time.
he?
Right.
Yeah.
He had an amazing time. He was running all up and down. Yeah.
Right,
He had a
right.
great time. So, guys, this is free. All right, this is a free event. All you have to do is, I think, register. When you get there, you get a wristband, and then you get to go and find Easter eggs. And not only that, towards the end, they give away all types of gifts and prizes
Yeah.
and raffles and all types of stuff. So stick around for that. But it is sure to be a great time.
Sure to be a great time.
Yes. So we also have the
The
adult.
Adulties Day.
Yes, this is a
And a fundraiser, yeah. So
That flyer is fire.
that flyer is
flyer
fire,
is
and that
flyer.
fire is fire.
Fire.
Say that twice, everybody.
It
Right now at
is.
home,
Good
I want y'all to
morning,
say that.
Asia.
Fire is fire, and fire is fire. Asia, what's up? My dad, what's up? What's up, Lloyd? We see
What's
you in
up,
the comments.
Asia?
Lloyd said we doing food reviews on salads.
Because I don't eat meat.
That's my guy. That's okay. Yeah, I know. He know what we talking about.
Cucumbers are great. So
Cucumber
salt and
salad
pepper.
reviews
Put some salt
coming
and pepper
soon.
on it.
Asia,
Cucumbers
please
makes
come
a
back.
difference.
Asia, where are
I
you?
personally miss you so much.
I know.
I really do. It's so sad not having her this week
It
after having
is.
her for a whole week.
She is special.
Oh.
Can't wait to be
Hey.
office roomies.
Office Roomies coming soon. Hey, let me tell y'all something. So I do a lot of watching of the analytics, right?
Okay.
And so watching the analytics on YouTube, the YouTube shorts that come out from the show, Lily's clips always do better than everybody's. From her show Imagine Me
Oh, wow.
to now her being on the news, her clips from all of our shows, we do tons of shows and tons of stuff. Lily clips always do better than everybody's.
Wow. Well, thank
Always.
you.
I told you that.
Yeah,
a year
this is
ago.
probably news to you.
This is probably news to you. I was going to text you this week and tell you that.
Look, hold on.
I know, little did you know.
All together here.
Them
No,
Lily
I'm just
clips be
kidding.
popping, man. I'd be like, what is going on? So I take them down because I'd be mad. No, but the Lily clips be popping. But also shout out to Asia. Asia had a clip talking about how she holds her man down while he's
Yes.
traveling. That clip has done really, really well. I think that
Yes.
one is killing it right now also. So shout out to our ladies here, to all of you guys and all of the information that we're putting out. Shout out to Danny for putting out these great topics as well. Because I
are
think
great
we're
topics.
hitting on
Thank
things
you.
that people are really starting to bite on.
Yeah.
And now we have great clips to put out that aren't just for us to shine.
Yeah.
It's because people need to hear this kind of information. So
I definitely think they're great topics, and I think that people are appreciating them, because even folks that haven't really been able to watch the show, because maybe they're already at work or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
when they see the clips, I'm noticing that people will say something like, "Oh, I need to tap in because I
Yeah,
didn't know
that's
this
the
is the kind of
key.
stuff that you guys
Yeah.
are talking about." So yeah, shout out
that.
to Danny.
Well, speaking
for the
of, thank
cool
you.
questions.
Speaking of
Yeah.
topics, this week on the show, we were talking about, are we just live? So it's the mayor's corner is coming on today. So I wanted to try to think of something that was like community based. It's just that don't text back though. She probably just texted me. But the question is, are we just living in our community, or are we showing up in our community, or are we just living here? So, and I want to like take that, not just
like
I want to take
figuratively,
that
but
deeper.
like literally.
I like literally, and like just you can just like a neighborhood type of thing, or community, as like if you're going downtown and you're staying up to date and you're in
Yeah.
the things that we'll talk about during the mayor segment. Are you involved in those kind of things? Are you donating your time? Are you this or that? Or are you showing up in other ways? Are you like the neighborhood auntie? Are you making sure the neighborhood is okay, the
Okay.
kids is being safe, they're
Yeah.
they're not doing anything they're supposed to do? So I wanted to like hit like different spectrums on that and just talk about where we are
Love
as
that.
people in the community.
Love that.
So that
Love
is
that.
the topic today. So stick around for that. I know there's a lot of great people that are always in our comments and on
Yes.
the show that are heavily involved in the community.
Yeah.
We also have the Master Experience Weekend happening
Let's
very,
go.
very soon, and I am so excited for that. If
Yes.
y'all missed our video, I was in here, practicing. I didn't have a whole lot to practice with,
Oh,
so
that
I
was the
just
best.
used a little iPad box.
Listen.
But I was in here working out of sweat, and they was talking about me.
We was worried about you.
Did you work out a sweat?
Not really.
Okay.
You was in here stepping on an iPad box, man.
And it didn't crumble.
I mean, that's half the battle, is just getting started. So
We was
kudos to
worried
Danny
about
for
it,
just,
man.
what I'm saying, getting it started.
People don't know. People don't know how weird you are, Danny. That's the weirdest thing is that
Wow.
people don't know how weird you
Wow.
are. No. Danny is weird. And,
It's okay.
And Danny doesn't know. And she's shocked.
If you think I'm weird, put a green heart in the chat.
How they go? They what a green heart is? Okay, yeah, I guess
A
so.
green heart
They got to
emoji?
search for that. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
put a
but I
green
just
heart.
seen
Do you
them
see how
color
weird
green.
she is? Who says
I keep seeing a green
Okay,
screen
well,
pop up.
let me advocate
put a
for
green
her.
heart? It's not
They
really
say-
happening on
they
the show.
say
They preview
Happening in my
stuff.
face.
It's not really happening.
Geniuses
It's not
pick
really.
green.
Put a green
Geniuses pick green. That's what they say. That's what
they
they said
say.
on Meet the
That
Farmers.
call me a weirdo.
People eat green M&Ms are weird. But anyway, so
I think they all taste the same.
Danny is an odd person, but she's hilarious
I'm
and it's
unique.
just funny. And she cracks me up every single day. It's so much fun working with her. And the fact that people don't get to know
Oh,
how
Asia put
weird
the
she
green
is
hearts.
is the part that cracks me up.
Lucas thinks that everything is freaking weird. And he always says freaking weird.
Yeah.
This is freaking weird.
If you watch
You're
that
freaking
video,
weird.
you'll see. Danny, this is
Freaking weird.
freaking
You
weird.
say freaking weird all
Danny,
the
this is freaking weird. That's all he said. in the
It's always
video.
freaking
I'm like,
weird.
Danny, this is freaking weird. I'm like, you're
Can't say harsher words.
No, you couldn't.
You're lucky I don't say harsher things. You guys are freaking weird.
I know, because I've seen you turn into like a Dame Dash, all
Yeah,
that. What
you've
I
seen
used to
that.
call you? Death Row. This is Death
Suge
Row
Knight.
Records.
I don't know
Suge
her,
Knight.
Hey, yeah, give it Jalen. Thank you. You're gonna find out.
All right,
But
Jalen.
she's hilarious. She's funny. She's fun. It's fun to be around weird people when you work all day and you
Oh
got a
my
bunch of
gosh,
stuff to
I
do and you
cannot.
could be stressed. She's hilarious. Like what y'all saw, Danny created that whole skit in like 33 seconds.
Literally 33
awesome.
seconds.
She just was like, "Hey, I got an idea,"
And we did it. It was fun to shoot too.
And we just jumped up and did it. No script. We just jumped up and did what she told us to do. She was like, "You gonna say some stuff like this," and she was like, "Liv, you gonna walk around with the camera like this," and then boom, we was off and running and
3 takes.
And that was
good.
it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was good.
takes
You're
me
kind of
out.
genius, you know?
You know?
One
Keep
of
me
them
around.
ruined
What
because
did I
Reem was
say?
booing Lucas.
See,
You said what?
One
I
of
said
them ruined
genius
because
is
Reem
pick
booed
green.
Genius
Lucas.
is pick- yeah.
I just said
What was
that.
There was a one good one, and then here goes my son. Boo.
Oh,
I was like, you might have to step out.
It was
bro.
so
You
good.
might have to step out.
he was mad because I was hating on you like, I called you a weirdo, so he protective. He's
Yeah,
protective.
Reem was not feeling
That
that.
is
He's like,
so
you call my
funny.
mama weirdo
He's so
again,
weird.
son.
He's like, who weird? You weird.
Right. He's about to fight me.
Listen, guys, again, we are still doing the alumni McKinley versus, not versus, I keep saying versus, but McKinley versus alumni day. So, again, well, I said it again. I said it again.
Yes.
I know, because it was
It's
right
not
in
a
my
versus,
face
but a versus.
again.
Because
Versus,
McKinley
versus.
is always versus somebody. I mean, when you think about it, when it's, it's like versus Maslin.
You ain't got your friends here, so I ain't going to talk about Timken.
I mean, you can talk about whatever you want. I'm a McKinley and Timken. My kids graduated from McKinley. I went to
I
McKinley.
don't
My
know,
dad
'cause
graduated
I don't know
from
about that,
McKinley.
Right.
Because my boyfriend, he grew up in Kansas City and went to like Layman and all that.
I didn't know that.
Then he went to
became a traitor.
Maslin.
You
That's
get indoctrinated.
crazy.
You get
I
baptized when you go to
don't know,
Maslin.
like if you could really,
They
you
turned
know,
into a tiger.
Wait a minute.
I
so
know.
You're,
He was a Canton guy.
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I gotta wrap my brain around this.
Yeah.
So you are talking about Timken, but you live with somebody that went to Maslin.
Unfortunately.
This is not.
And
okay.
Reem claims Maslin.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about
He
it, it might not
does.
work.
He does.
I might
Little does
just
he know
go-
he's a bulldog right now. I told him that the other day.
did.
Oh my gosh.
To his
You
face.
are an Arts Academy bulldog.
I don't know what you. It sounds like Days of Our Lives in your house.
Does. The soap opera continues.
I just aged myself.
I know what you did. You got a grandma's house. She like, it's hot. We ain't got no fan.
I have no
Don't
idea
sit on
what you're
that
talking
couch.
about.
Don't sit on that
You
couch.
better stay in or stay out. I'm watching Days of Our Lives.
All
What's
right,
up,
so
everybody
yes.
in the chat?
Yeah,
What's going
what's
on?
up? Y'all
Lindsay,
having
Sean, Jamar, what's up, man? What's going on, everybody?
Russell.
Thank you guys for saying
Jamar.
hello. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Please share the broadcast if you don't mind.
I'm
We
a one of a
appreciate
kind.
that. Darla, what's going on?
She said, "Good morning,
What's
Libby."
up, Libby? Oh, Libby, mommy in the
All
chat.
right, y'all. So
Aw.
listen, we have
We just
a
live here.
special guest in the building. Okay, you have seen him here on our show, but you haven't seen him live. Okay, so right now, what I want y'all to do is get your Cash Apps out, get your checkbooks out,
Help somebody out.
open your ears up, because
Yeah.
we're getting ready to send one of our kids not only to Morocco, but back to Morocco.
Yes,
okay?
Africa, right?
Africa,
We wanna
right?
support our
So we
young
want to
people.
welcome our guest on over to the show real
Mr.
quick.
Carlo
Yes, Mr. Carlo.
Varola. Come on down. And Latrice, come on. And his mother is here in the
Come
building.
on
We're going to
over.
slide. We're going to move around a little bit. You guys check us
Just a
out. Watch
little
us. Watch
bit.
how we work. Yes, welcome. Okay, she's moving. She's sliding. I'm bumping. I'm sliding. I'm
Come on over.
sliding to the back like she's trying not to fall. Okay. Her feet don't touch the
There
ground.
you go. Welcome.
Welcome.
How
Hopefully
are
all our
you?
mics are working and
Thank you
everything.
so much
Squeeze
for-
on into the picture.
Yes,
You
look
in
at
the
that.
picture?
It looks
Okay, look.
great. We're
Look at
having
us.
a good old time.
Look at what we can
Good
do.
old time.
So what's up, y'all? How y'all doing down there?
Doing good. Good.
Good. Now, Latrice is also a podcast host, if you guys don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She is the host of Next Stop Sardis podcast. Shout out to her. So you're familiar with us, Latrice, right?
Yes, I am.
You're at home here, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is something, to be honest, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for companies like Sarda. We wouldn't be in our first studio. We wouldn't be in this studio if it wasn't for community partners. We're talking about community today.
Yes.
Community partners who believed in us when we were a young company finding our way, and they believed in what we could do to help them, and we've partnered together, and that's been a beautiful thing. So shout out to Sarda. That's why we're always fans and supporters, and we believe that everybody should support, because what Sarda does in our community, we're a small community, so we take riding the bus for granted. It's a lot of communities where people put on suits and get on the bus. You've been to a bigger city?
Right.
They got on their suits and got on their briefcase and they on the bus, and we're a small town and we act like something's wrong if you get on the bus. Buses, public transportation is a key part of a city. It keeps people moving. It helps people with disabilities. It helps people who can't drive. It helps people who have a need. This was not a part of the show, but I'm just saying this is from Lucas. It's something we need to support. Anyway, that's not what we're here for today, but shout out to that. We are here to support my man Carlo.
Yes.
He is going back to Morocco with his basketball team. Carlo, first of all, tell him what grade are you in? How old are you? Tell the people who you are a little bit.
I'm a freshman and I'm 15 years old.
And you're a freshman at McKinley?
Oh yeah, I go to early college.
Early college. Shout out to
Okay,
young early
okay,
college
so-
young
Shout
guy.
Early college.
This is an early college graduate right
Yes,
here. Look,
yes.
you can be somebody, okay? You can get here from there, okay? I just want you to know that, all right?
That
It
is
happens.
funny.
Yes. So go ahead, Danny.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about last year. So you guys went to Morocco last year. How many days did you stay? And like, what were you thinking while you were there? Like, what was the experience like?
So we went. It was about I was gonna say a week. It was about like a week trip, and it was just really surreal. Like, cause it was just like completely different from here.
Yeah.
Like, cause not only did I not really understand what most people were saying, cause I speak a different language. Like, just the way they behave throughout the day. Like, how traffic even works. Like, it's just totally different, and the food was really different too. Like, it was just like
Was it
culture
good?
shock.
Yeah.
I personally,
You can be honest. Be honest.
I'm not picky either. I didn't
Okay.
really like it, but some of the people there did.
Okay. He like,
was-
nah,
They didn't have no donuts.
yeah,
You know
no
what I'm saying?
chicken rings and fries.
We did have donuts.
Oh,
we
did
went
you?
to the Mall of Morocco and we got this awesome donut with
Oh.
Oreos on it. I
Really
can't wait to
good.
go back to that mall and get one when we go
I
next
know.
time.
Okay. So I'm calling out the one good thing.
Right,
The
she said,
donuts
we
were
did
good.
get donuts.
The donuts was good.
But it was
not-
a really good experience, and I really enjoyed it last year.
Oh, that is
So
awesome.
for the people who don't know, what is the experience? Who did you go with? What are you doing when you're there? Like, what is the reason that you want to go back? That you gotta going back.
Back to Morocco. Right.
So I went with Varsity Athletic Club and played on a basketball team last year. So last year it was a day tournament, and we played against some of the teams in Morocco, and sorry.
You're fine,
We also met with people in Morocco. What was the person
We went to the embassy. We met with some other people. So the program, the way it started was to be centered around basketball and show how that can do lots of different things. So they did the tournament, but what was really cool is they actually created the tournament around us coming. So the tournament didn't exist. So last year was actually the first time they did the tournament. And they're expanding it this year. So they did the tournament, which was really one day of basketball.
Yeah.
Everything else was more learning cultural awareness. We went to multiple cities
Oh, wow.
to see different things. Again, we went to the embassy. We met somebody from the consulate. So just really to show that there are things outside of this country,
Yes.
different things in the government that the kids could do, and just to expose them to that. Which was really, really cool for me to see as well,
Yeah.
but also for the kids to see, because you really don't know what you don't know, especially if you've never left the country. And so I think it was a really good experience. What was really cool last year is they were the first to do this program.
Right.
Yeah.
So they kind of set the framework for what the program's going to look like going forward. He's kind of modest about the tournament. So the tournament, they came in second in the
Okay.
tournament.
Okay.
How many
all right.
teams were in there?
There were 4.
Okay.
But the only team they lost to was 16 and 18-year-olds. And they were 14
Wow.
last year.
Wow.
And how old were 16? What's your
They
They
grade?
were
14.
16. They're 14. And
Wow.
16
Yeah,
and 18.
that's like the mid, like, because he's a freshman
So
now,
y'all
right?
beat some great
Right, so they were like
Yeah,
middle
he was
school.
in
They
eighth
ran
grade.
up on some
the
NBA
other
players.
thing is the ball that we use here in America for basketball, we're the only ones that use that
That
ball.
is true.
So it's a different basketball and different rules. So we
We're
knew
so
that it was
weird.
a different ball. We didn't know it was a different rules until we got
right.
there. So they're having to learn the rules are different as they're playing the game.
Wow.
Which I think was a very valuable lesson to learn, because life is always
Adapting.
often like
Yes.
that. You go
Yes.
in like, okay, I know it. And you get there like, I don't know
Okay.
it. But you got to change on the spot. So I thought that was really good as well for them. And the other thing is so they interviewed the team for their Moroccan national news, which is like CNN. And Carlo was the person that spoke for the whole team.
Wow.
That's right. Wow. So you're not
This is not
ain't
new
your
to you.
first
Yeah,
day.
right.
Yeah.
He's so well spoken
yeah.
too. I was like, man, he jumped right on and was like, yes, I've been to Morocco a time or two.
Right. Yeah, I've been on the news in Morocco.
You've not been on the news in Morocco. They've asked me back.
And so to answer your question, so this year when he's going back, what they're going to do is they're going to create like an internship leadership program for him specifically, which they're still working on the details to kind of give him exposure from a different perspective on just international basketball and kind of all the different things there, which I think will be really good for him. Like, I don't want him to grow up and move to Africa, but I
if he
want him
does.
to at least have an idea that these are things that are a possibility. So, and then he'll also be able to mentor all the kids that are going this year. So last year they took a boys team. This year they're taking a boys team and a girls team.
Wow.
And so it's not expanded now. It's a weekend tournament with multiple countries. And so when I talked to him about the opportunity about us going, he really liked the idea of being able to see it from a different perspective and then just be able to do different things. So
I love that.
Awesome.
Man, so tell me one thing that was different about the playing style and what you had to like learn on the fly.
It was much quicker. So, like here in America, like if the ball goes out of bounds, you have to go get it, then give it to the ref, and then once they give you the ball, you can pass it in. But if the ball goes out of bounds, just go run, get it, pass it in. It's,
Wow, like
it
the
doesn't
court, like
stop
the
as much.
street.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
so
the
Yeah.
it was
Did
way
you like
quicker.
that?
Once I understood it, yeah, but like they were able to get us a couple of times because we were expecting they had to give it to the
Yeah.
ref.
Right.
Beat
Okay.
us down the
Okay.
court.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Now let's talk a little bit about the fundraising part about this. And
Yes.
Latrice, your mom, you can help us with this a little bit more. Talk to us a little bit about the need to raise funds. I mean, going to Morocco is not just your regular family vacation. It's not something where you just said, hey, we're going to jump up and go to Morocco again this year. So, I'm just looking to get money for it.
Yeah.
This is an honor. This is something your son was chosen to do, now coming back as an ambassador of sorts. Talk to us about, that there are expenses to this and how we can help.
So fundraising. So last year what we did is they had all kinds of events. We were selling stuff and doing that. And of course I said, Carlo, you're working at all these events so we can raise some money. This opportunity this year came a little bit later. So we actually weren't able to be involved in any of those fundraising events.
Yeah.
So we probably got asked in January. So then you got to pick up really fast because the plane tickets are $1,500 a piece.
Man.
And besides Carlo and I going, my daughter is also going with us as well. Then you have to have hotel when you're there. We're flying out of DC, so we have to pay for the ground transportation to get to DC, the plane. And then while we're in Morocco, we pay for ground transportation there, so we're not driving cars and things around.
Right.
We have to eat while we're there. And then we do different things, like we go shopping. We went to a particular restaurant that kind of highlights Moroccan culture. We ride ATVs in the desert.
You give the kids an experience.
So you can kind of feel
something they
what the
don't-
country is like.
Yeah,
And
that's
then, so
good.
this year they've added actually an extra day on the trip. So we're going to 4 cities instead of 3. So we have to pay for all of those different things. And then it's just, so they don't have water fountains there. You drink out of bottled water everywhere. So we gotta get stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so got to get adapters. Their outlets aren't like ours.
Right.
Just things you don't think about. So we need to raise funds to be able to do that because it's a great experience. So not only did I pay for it last year, now we have to pay for it again this year. So I've been actively fundraising, going out and just straight asking for donations.
Yeah.
Carlo has been doing a little bit of work because there were some things where he could work at, but we missed the majority of the opportunity. So we only need, and I say only in comparison to how much, we only need about $2,000 more.
Oh, we can do that.
Listen,
so
y'all, we've
Let's
done
go.
this before.
We can do that.
So we need about $2,000 more.
Okay.
We're going in July, but we have to pay for things incrementally on the
Right.
way.
Yeah.
So what I say to people is, I'd rather you give it to me sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been actively fundraising. Carl and I go out and talk to different people. I know a lot of people, so I explain his experience and what it is to him and just ask people whatever they can give. Sometimes people are like, oh, I can only give this. Well, this is something that we don't have to contribute towards the trip, which could be very helpful.
Yeah.
So you said Cash App. I actually don't have Cash App,
Oh,
but I
she's got
have
Venmo.
and Zelle.
Yes.
Either one of them you can get to through my name,
Okay.
Latrice Varola, or you could just text me.
Put it in the chat.
Yep.
My cell phone number is 330-437-8953. And like I said, anything would help us. This is a great experience, and I'm really excited that we get to go back again.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to, since it's basketball, my daughter plays basketball. She's too young right now, but about in 4 or 5 years, I'll be doing this all over
I love
again.
that.
Because
I love
hopefully
that.
she'll be chosen to be on the team to go. And I just think, I was 40-something before I ever left the country.
Right.
So I think it's awesome to be able to have my children to be able to leave the country. But then I also like to just be able to see all the other children experience it. So the one story I tell from when we were in Morocco last year is one night the boys just wanted to go out and explore. And I said, I wouldn't let you go out in Columbus by yourself.
Much
less another country.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went out with them and we were kind of walking around and exploring, and it was just neat to be able to sit back and see them absorbing everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And just to really gain a better appreciation of a lot of the things that we have here that are taken for granted because you don't realize how lucky we are to have the various things here.
I love it. You guys, it's your chance to give. You guys, please, we're going to make sure that that's in the chat for you guys to have this opportunity to give, to help our young people go to Morocco. We talk a lot when our children are doing things wrong, or, there's not enough opportunities in Canton or whatever it is. This is an opportunity to send a young person and some young people to Morocco, Africa, to have a great experience. And you could be a part of that, even if it's $20, $50, $100, $2,000, whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? Just give it to us. We locking the doors of the church. That's all I'm saying. Till y'all give. No, I'm just like, we ain't doing all that. We're not doing all that. I understand. There's some churches that are like, close the doors. Close the doors. I said close the doors. No, we're not doing that. But we do have an opportunity we've given, and I'm sure we will give more ourselves from Lucas Live Media. If you have a business or if you're an individual and you just want to do something kind, maybe you got a tax return and you're like, I could give a little bit of something more just to make a difference. And one day it might be your kid that's in need, or just wanting to have an experience like this, and you'll be looking for people to give back. So let's make sure we do that. Agent said too soon. All right. So thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to continue to shout you guys out and continue to help raise money for you guys and all that you guys are doing.
Listen, guys, we'll be right back. This is our sports recap. We'll see you right back here at the news desk.
Thank you.
Good morning, this is Brandon Givens-Davis with another weekly sports report. This week, we're going to shine a spotlight on the McKinley girls flag football team. I believe this is their first official season, but either way, it is exciting to see so many more opportunities opening up for girls in sports. Their games will kick off this Sunday, March 30th at 10 a.m., and the season will run through April 27th. And we have the full flyer with all upcoming games, dates, and times, so make sure you check that out and show some support. And if you've got any nieces, nephews, kids, or any young athletes in your life, this is the perfect time to get them signed up for summer sports, whether it's baseball, softball, tennis, or other activities. You can find all the registration info at ccsdistrict.org or firstfriendsports.com. It is a great way to keep them active, learning, and having fun this summer. This is Brandon Givens-Davis with another weekly sports report, reminding you to sign your kids up, get active, and stay involved. We'll see you next week. I'll send it back to our hosts. You have a great rest of your weekend, and as always, go Pups.
Okay. All right, we are back. Listen, you guys, let's make sure that we helped send these babies to Morocco. So I tagged Latrice's Facebook name in the chat. You guys can click that, go right to her page, and see all the kinds of ways that you can donate. Okay, $2,000 ain't a lot if we all pitch in to help.
That's right.
All pitching to help.
We did it for your birthday.
Yep.
We did it. We raised some funds quick.
Had a little $1,000.
You had a little $1,000 real quick.
I think the bigger part of it too is like, just for the viewers out there, it's not just about a basketball experience.
Yes.
You know, a lot of what they talked about is, like the life lesson.
Yep.
And especially for a young person like that to learn how to speak and adapt. And it's just going to help in life.
Yes.
I think for me personally, I didn't have that type of experience. I was a Cantonian.
Same.
I still have not left the country.
What? Really?
You ain't been to Canada or nowhere?
No, I don't like planes. So that's my problem.
I understand that.
Yeah, I'm not a plane
Well, yeah,
person.
Have you been on a plane or two?
I haven't. I go.
What happens? You get sick or scared?
No, I have like major anxiety attacks. So like
not the way you know the Lord, girl.
Yeah, you know, isn't that something?
You get closer to the Lord when you're up there.
But you know what? When I'm on the plane,
That's what I assume.
when I'm on the vacation of where I'm at, I have so much angst about getting back on the plane that
you
I
don't even get to enjoy it.
But back to him though. It's really a great experience for him because it's just going to help him in life as far as like employment and jobs and networking and opportunity. And so just really look at the bigger picture of, sending this young man to Morocco. So
I agree. It's priceless.
All right, y'all. So we are talking about community today. So the first question that I really had for the audience, for us to kind of chat about, again, it's the main topic is like, how are we showing up, or are we just living here? You know what I mean? Are we investing in our community, or are we just complaining about it? You know. So I want to ask, what does it actually look like to be a part of a community? Like to you guys, like what are we all like maybe actively doing to be part of our community in an impactful way? So whoever wants to start, if you guys want to let us know in the comments too, let us know in the chat. This is an audience question for you guys too. What does being part of a community actually look like to you?
I feel like,
No, go ahead.
I feel like supporting our
Let's hear from
small
Libby.
businesses.
So what?
I feel like supporting our small businesses.
Yes, supporting our small businesses.
Which unfortunately, 19th hole did close down recently.
We're sad.
That's a good example, though.
Yeah.
We could have been there more.
I do,
Yeah.
and can I piggyback off
Yeah.
that? I appreciate that you brought that up.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but at this point, I really don't care, because when you think about something like that, it was such a unique business, right? And I don't really know the purpose of them closing. Like, I don't know what
Right.
happened.
They didn't make enough
Yeah.
money, probably. Yeah,
But
that's usually what it
if
is.
that's the case, okay, you're talking about a unique business downtown, minority business. I saw everybody talking about, y'all going tonight to the closing? Why aren't we going
Right.
to every
Yeah.
opportunity that we
Yeah.
can?
Yeah.
And I know there were people that were doing fundraisers there and things like that, and shout out to them. I used to like having like my family Christmas. I was trying to get my family to have like Christmas gatherings somewhere, and it was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, we can golf and we can just kind of hang out, like, and do something unique. And I think that goes back to, like, Danny had a question a few weeks ago that was kind of similar. We talked about people, their comfort zones, right? I think sometimes we get like, well, I don't want to do that, or I don't. Let's support each other and not be afraid to step out and do unique things. I feel like a business like that is very unique.
Yes.
And it was right here. We don't have to go out to a township. We don't have to go. It was up the street from my house.
And it
It's
was
almost like a
co-owned.
missed opportunity.
It was minority owned, and it was a mixed owned business. It was a beautiful
family,
thing.
like,
Family-owned,
you know,
Yeah.
we don't have anything like that really here. Like, I could take my daughter, but then me and my husband could also go on a late night
Right.
and you know.
Yeah.
So so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, my family, like, through marriage, were the owners of it. So yeah, it is sad to see it go. I had my birthday and graduation party there.
Did you?
Yeah. So yeah, it's unfortunate. We're pretty sad about it.
Yeah, I'm
but-
sad about 19th hole closing.
And there's others. So if you can think of some local businesses, please put them in the chat. Or if you have a local business, please put it in the chat, whatever it is. Please shout out your local businesses, because if we're going to say supporting local businesses is the way to go, one of the issues that we're trying to solve with Footage Fusion is awareness of businesses.
Yes.
Because a lot of businesses, there's just not enough awareness. It's like you're not thinking of that business day after day. You're thinking of the businesses you're driving by, or the ones that are advertising on TV and another half price appetizers at Applebee's or whatever it is, because they're advertising constantly and they're staying in front of us, even though you think they don't need to, but they do. So we got to keep pushing our small businesses, putting them out there. Shout out to Jalen Turner again, because what he's doing, even though he's critiquing them, and he might say it's not great, is he is bringing awareness to the fact there's a ton of small businesses when he's going to these places. I'm like, I forget, I was at Jit Spot, I want to say, but it's not called Jit Spot. It's
Jimbo's?
Jimbo's.
Yeah.
Because Jalen did a review. Our guy legit is there cooking. I went in there. I texted Jit like I'm coming. He was like, I'll be there at 3. I'm like, I'm coming when you're there. Cook food. It was amazing. Me and my family, we spent $50 at that business that we might have spent at Chick-fil-A or something that night.
Right.
But because he put that out there.
Love
So
that.
And
Love that.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Danny.
no, I was going to say good morning to LaTony. I want him to know that this is the perfect show for him to tune in on. We're talking about community. We just got done talking about the alumni, McKinley versus Timken alumni day. So I just seen you in the comments, and I wanted to say what's up. And I see Gloria and Elise in there.
Sade, Coach G, what's up?
Yes,
What's
and
up?
Coach G, you too. This is a community
guy.
topics,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
Elise, thank you for sharing the SCMBA directory. You guys can go right there and go to the SCMBA directory and find all local minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses.
Yes.
So the directory is so helpful. If you're looking for a plumber, you can type that in. If you're looking for someone to do lawn care, you can type that in. If you're looking for childcare, you can type that in, and they're all going to be local, minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses. So
Love that.
that
I
is
think-
one way that you can support local small businesses is by going to the directory. And just if you don't know, we can, we always ask Facebook, like, does anybody know?
Right.
Just get
Right.
on the SCMBA
Yeah.
website and find the people you want to support and do it that way.
Right. Shout out to Sade. She said attending events, volunteering time, or sweat equity, donating money, serving on as a board member. I know Sade is on a board at Synchrony. She works for Synchrony, and she's on a board, and they serve in the community, and they invest money, and they do things. Sometimes big businesses like that, like Synchrony and stuff, you don't know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
they still do DE&I, and they're doing stuff in the community, and you can serve on those boards. I think she serves on a board there. So that does help impact the community, because you can work at your job and be like, I ain't doing nothing extra. Y'all lucky I'm here.
I mean, and I think also like some of us that work at certain places, I mean, like big corporations have a corporate responsibility to the neighborhoods that they serve in, and so, or that they're placed in, not serve in. And so I think even pushing back when you work in a place like that, like if you're at a Walmart and you work at Walmart, like, okay, so what are you doing for the community here in Walmart?
That's
because
fair.
you do have a corporate responsibility because of your corporation.
And you're often putting small businesses out of business.
You are,
which
yeah.
is
So
capitalism, and I suppose it's a part of our nation. But are you just stripping the community of resources? Are you investing back into that community?
I agree, because I mean, once you put a store like a Family Dollar or Dollar General, because we have a lot of them in the city, too many as far as I'm concerned.
You're right.
But what it does is it creates this place where small businesses can't really grow. So when you see places like that, we can advocate for those corporations to reinvest into those communities, because they do have a corporate responsibility.
Yeah, I agree. Jalen P. Turner, he says, shopping and eating at local businesses, supporting and volunteering at local nonprofits, attending council meetings, and attending community events like the Canton PDs, I believe, in Canton. Yes, I think just getting involved, like, that's one thing I do love about, working with Lucas and Lucas Live Media and the news, is getting able to travel around and just be at everything. Like, we have been at cookouts, we have been at backyard things, we have been at Prestige, like, we have been everywhere. We've been in our formal outfits, we've been in our gym shoes and shorts, like, we're all over the place, and I love that. I love being involved in the community. I love being part of the community. I like seeing my people out in the community. I like seeing, like, places still being utilized, like Crenshaw Park, I just like seeing things like Crenshaw Park and the Southeast Community Center are looking so beautiful right now.
Yeah,
like,
and they're putting out new water parks this summer. I think there's going to be one in every corner of the city. I think they're putting out new ones.
I was watching actually.
I
was watching it's not a podcast, but it was an interview with the owner who was over the Hall of Fame Village.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The CEO.
The CEO.
He's recently resigned.
Yeah, he recently resigned to have someone else coming in, but he was just talking about all the money they were able to bring in and how a lot of that money went towards things like the parks and the fields over at McKinley, all of those teams coming in. Because one thing that he did say is, a lot of the times in community, we talk about the things that we don't have, that we, that we don't, just what we don't have, we can't go and do whatever. But he was talking about how much money even the fields brought in. Like, a lot of people aren't from Canton. I am. My son is in Flag, and I'm using those fields. I'm out there, but some people aren't getting involved in it, right? And then they're saying, well, what is all that doing for the city? Well, they're coming to our fields, they're staying in our hotels, they're eating at our restaurants. So they are, when we get these tourists and people that aren't from Canton, when the village is done, I think we'll have a lot of people coming in to be able to invest back into our community.
And I think the Hall of Fame is like the #1 tourist attraction in Ohio, and we don't know that.
That sucks. It doesn't suck. I just read a book the other day. Reem got a book from the library.
I was just about to say,
And he had all the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was in there, all this stuff. And the promo about Hall of Fame was not in this Ohio book. Cedar Point was the first thing.
It's funny. More people come to see the Hall of Fame, not the village. I know the village ain't done, and the village looks silly, but but it's not quite done. But the Hall of Fame, but the Hall of Fame itself, which is separate from the village, and hopefully the village does get done. I know it gets a lot of hate because of whatever happened, but hopefully it does get done. It'd be a great resource for us.
And really, what I found out too was a lot of us. Now this came from his mouth. I don't know. Allegedly,
Wendy.
They said that people were upset, saying that this was a waste of money and y'all wasted our money and we can't believe this, and why start something if you don't got money for it. And what he did say is it wasn't a financial thing. He said I go into any business plan with the money behind me. He said what happened was the lenders got cut off. People weren't.
There was COVID.
Yeah, it was COVID. It was when they cut the supply off and said, "Ain't y'all not getting nothing? Y'all not getting nothing else." He said that affected them because they had all that stuff put into place, and then when your lenders kind of like cut you off and leave you hanging, what are you gonna do? Like, where are you gonna get a big old water slide from?
They
Like,
got some
where are you gonna get
pieces
that
over
from?
there. Right. Where do
I
you
mean,
get
I
it
think
from?
one of the main things is, like, Lucas, what you were saying is focus on the things that are happening. Focus on the things that are, like, the Hall of Fame is open, and they've made a lot of changes inside.
It's
like,
beautiful.
From when I was a kid till now,
For sure.
it's totally different. I don't even know what it looks like right now.
Oh, it's
But just from a
amazing
few
in
years
there.
ago, it looks totally different.
Yes.
Just that the park and, like, how they put, like, the little plaza and different things. Just it's creating a uniqueness to it.
Oh my gosh, have y'all been to that Starbucks?
Yes. All the
The
time.
inside
Is it
of it
good?
is so cool. It's
haven't been
like
inside.
it's football themed.
Yeah.
And like the light fixtures are like plays.
See?
Yeah.
Like
Look at
it's so
Olivia.
cool.
She's
like,
It's
yeah.
so cool. They're like plays. Like you know how like y'all
never
be
paid
like
that any
y'all
attention.
write
Like y'all,
With
I
the
like how she
circle,
said
right
y'all.
the
'cause
end.
I'm
the
a
circles
player.
and the arrows
Yeah, I
and
know how
the
we do.
triangles
Thank
or
you.
whatever.
Yeah, no, I
I
have to do that
recognize
one
my
thing.
football prowess.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
one
so
of the
cool.
other things is, like, we're talking about the responsibilities, like, of people being on boards and all these other things. Well, there are some people that don't have the time, or they feel like they don't have the time, but there's things that you can do in your neighborhood. So, for instance, if I see tennis shoes hanging from a wire in my
You supposed to go up there
community-
and get it? I seen that in the movie.
No, I call the city and
Oh,
I tell
okay,
them to
'cause it
come
didn't
pick
go
it
well
up.
in the movie I was
Like,
watching.
right, no, I ain't getting up on no ladders. But I think it's just about taking pride in your community wherever you're at. So even if you feel like, well, maybe I can't get on a board. I'm a single mom. I've got X, Y, and Z. I'm taking my kids to practice. I'm doing this. I'm by myself. But if you're sitting up here and you're seeing trash all over the place, or somebody's, uncut grass. I know Christian was here talking about that before. It's as simple as making a phone call, and hopefully they can maybe remind us about what that app was that they were talking about. So it's just little things that you can do. Like, I used to call all the time, get these tennis shoes off of here, because I don't want to look at tennis shoes above, and it's just the small things that people think that, okay, well, that doesn't matter. It does matter. Whether you're a homeowner, whether you're renting, whatever, it's still your community, and we still need to. It's okay to be a Karen every once in a while.
Get your
I gotta
Karen
make
on every now and
Karen
again.
phone call. Come get these tennis shoes
So
off of
it's
here.
funny that you say that, because
Jordans.
when I was thinking about some of the questions that I had and my thoughts around this, is like, some people might like. We can't force people to just go to council meetings and do stuff like that. Like, we can't force people to vote. Some people just.
Right.
So, but that doesn't mean that they're just terrible people in parts of our community. I say, like I said earlier, I feel like I'm the neighborhood auntie. The other day, it was like last year when it was summertime and stuff, but there was these kids, and I was driving down my alley. Obviously, I was going slow because it's an alley. But the way they came out from the bushes on their bikes, I could have, if I wasn't going as slow as I was, and just kind of just like, sometimes I'm not speeding down the alley, but I'm not as mindful as I was in that situation.
Right.
And they came out in front of me, and I could have just been like, "Dang on, kids!" But I got out of it. I said, "Hey, y'all could have got. Hey, y'all gotta be careful when y'all riding out here. Like, that's not cool. Like, this is this alley right here. These cars come and fly. I'm whole like breaking it down. Like, why you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
I had a couple kids come to my door asking to pick up trash to mow the lawn, and they needed some money. Most people send them away, but I'm like, come on, what
They
you
stay
want to do?
doing it,
Yep,
yep.
get that right there. One kid, I was in my house one day. I told him he can mow my lawn. Next thing I hear my water coming on outside. I was like, what is he? Let me go out here and see this little boy doing. He was out there spraying my car off because he said, I got all this grass on your car. So he's I'm just spraying it off. I was like, you're good. I'm like, thank you. But just
So
that
sweet.
part, I know they'll remember that. I'll remember that.
Yeah.
And then just so our kids just know, like, Danny, she might cuss us out, but she care about us. You know what I mean?
Cousin care.
Yeah.
Come on down to the cousin care on the corner.
Y'all can come
like
on
Kmart.
over here, cut my grass, take my trash out. You might
But
get
that there's
Cousin
somebody
care.
that cares about them
Yeah.
in the community. You never know. Like,
Yep.
in years from now, they might come and say, like, hey, I'm looking for a job.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I know they're a hard worker. You can advocate for them to get a job. They can use you as a reference because they were cutting my grass every summer. You know what I mean? Things like that. So
Yep. So, that's just, a few ways that I guess we could, be active members and parts of our community, and just, invest in it. Not just be here and complaining about the things we don't have or people don't do. You do it then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You step up and you do it, or you go to those meetings and you advocate for the things that you see are happening in the community, and you talk. We can't keep closed mouths don't get fed. We're gonna sit here and complain with our people in our homes. No one's gonna hear it. No one knows. We got people like Christian Turner and Mayor Scheer down there doing the work, doing the thing, and hearing us. They're going to local events. They're supporting small businesses. They're showing up, and they're trying to gain a level of trust with us. Mm-hmm. And we have to be receptive to that and just receive it. And I know that unlearning and relearning is always going to be a thing, right? Because when you think a system is against you, or you think the city is never going to do anything for you, or even if I say something, nothing's going to happen, we can't just think that and just still work off of that. Mm-hmm. Do something. Tech, there's all the text messages, things we can do about potholes. I see all the time people talking about potholes. Report it. I know, we feel like, well, that's not my job. That's the city's job. What do you live in? Do you live in a city? Do you, help your city? Be a part of it. And people are, it's just always that, I don't work for the city. I don't this, I don't that. Okay, well, then don't complain.
Yeah. So who do we report that to?
So there is a C-Click Fix app that you can all download, and it is right through CantonOhio.gov, and you can go on there. They walked in. I got excited. Sorry.
Right, we got the mayor in the house. He's like,
right,
relax. It's okay. It's just us. It's just the mayor. Nothing
but
big.
Funny they walked in. I hope I get this right. But it's C-Click Fix, and you guys can go on there and you can report things that are happening in and around the community. So if it's those potholes, or if there's just something I think Christian last month had said, if there's an abandoned apartment or abandoned building or a car sitting in front of somebody's house for so long, and you just don't want it there no more. You don't have to complain and be mad and get on Facebook. You can literally just use the app.
What did she say? Do you want something to have you want attention? She's gonna have to tell us.
She would have to say
it's
it again.
It's a T-shirt.
I'll make her a shirt. I'll make Christian a whole
We're just trying to make the money off the shirt. You make the shirt, but we're gonna sell them too. We're trying to get 50%. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make a donation.
The cool thing about the app that you're talking about, Danny, is that she mentioned that you can follow up to see what they've done with it.
Oh, that was deep.
So
that was wild.
That was the part, because sometimes you call and you're just like, okay, I don't know if they're going to do anything. I called, 3 weeks ago. There's still high grass, but you can actually go and see, okay, Joe got it.
Yeah, right.
He read up on, you know what I mean? They're going to send somebody, whatever the information is, you can at least see that they got the information and that your voice is heard.
Yes.
So.
Yes. You want to read some
This is
comments?
interesting. There's a comment from Jasmine Marie from New York. Okay. She says, this is all important, especially when you see gentrification happening all around you. My neighborhood in New York isn't there yet, but my family and I make sure we are supporting all the local businesses that are popping up. Supporting local businesses is key.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jaden said, she said,
yep.
Do you want attention?
Or do you want answers?
Okay, let's go, Jalen.
There you go.
He remembers. I know what she said.
Right, I know what she said.
But that is important, right? Especially when you have a brick and mortar small business pop up, and it's somebody that like my family, we had Cheese Louise back in the day.
I remember Cheese Louise right downtown on Cleveland Avenue.
It's what's Fromino's now. I think it's.
I don't think you're saying it right.
I probably
I don't know. I never heard of Fromino's. Yeah, It's not like Domino's.
But it was Cheese Louise, and
I don't know.
Like a lot of businesses downtown, unfortunately.
Wait a minute, with the grilled cheese sandwich.
That was them. And the chili in that.
The gumbo.
And the gumbo, she always said
this was before my time, guys.
Because I used to work downtown.
I come down
before your time.
Oh my
Liz said she wasn't born.
Was probably not even thought.
Not long ago. It was
that was my godmom, Monique Moore, my goddad Fred Moore. They owned that. My brother was cooking in there, Josiah. Actually, one of the guys that are on Walking with a Purpose, he actually was one of the cooks down there too.
Mm-hmm. That is crazy.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna leave you alone. That was one of them.
Maybe I think it was Brandon.
Okay.
It was Brandon.
Talbert.
Yes.
Brandon
Talbert.
Brandon Talbert. He was down there. Yeah, he's a singer.
Yeah, so he was down there.
He was down there.
And I know, so I say that to say a lot of businesses, they do really well during First Friday. And we have to start doing a better job at supporting these businesses.
Every Friday and every other day. Because they can't stay alive. It ain't Black Friday.
Right,
one Friday a month they can survive. They need it.
Yeah.
So, it's beautiful that we all get out once a month and go downtown and support these businesses. But then the next Friday that we go down there and it's not there, it's because you only supported it one
Yeah.
time out of the month.
And you know what? You can go Saturday too.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
That's
there
what's
Saturday?
really cool.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And then
Our
like
downtown doesn't
sometimes
close
there's
down.
some stuff that's open like during the week. You
Oh,
know what I
really?
mean? Like, yeah.
So
like
if
you
I'm
can
hungry, like, and I
Yes.
need some
Yes.
lunch,
Well, we gotta
I just go
I
downtown.
heard Samantha's downtown is leaving,
They're
which is
gone already.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gone.
So many things. Okay.
Yeah, but again, okay, and we're now going to have an office downtown. Shout out to Stark County Minority Business Association and the deal they did down there, and we got to pay rent for our spot. I don't think they're just going to let us down there for free, but that's an investment we're willing to make to have a spot down there. And we talked about it. One of the things we want to do is be there so we can support the things that are going on downtown. Yeah. And we're going to go there and work there some days during the week so that we can go have lunch down there, so we can support it during the week. So. Yes. We gotta do something to help support these things because we eating somewhere. We having lunch from somewhere.
When I worked downtown for like 15 years. Like, and I was always downtown eating.
Yeah. Them businesses didn't go out of business when you was down there.
And, I mean, no.
It was good when you was down there. I was like, man, nothing goes out of business. Applebee's and all that was there when you was there.
Because she loved food.
She loved food.
I didn't realize how many restaurants were downtown.
There were
I thought like everybody always talks about Basil. That's about
Which
all
we
I
love.
thought was
We
down
love
there.
Basil.
Yeah.
We do. But what's Ohio Deli? I think
Ohio Deli is
Ohio Deli is fire.
They have like a pizza
Fire.
place now.
Fire.
There is a
What's the
pizza
pizza
place
place?
there.
It's in
it's
Ohio
like a
Deli,
partner.
and I'll tell you
I
what.
told you that.
Me and my
You didn't order none?
sister,
You don't
I don't like pizza.
me and my husband and my sister and her husband and like we would go there like last year and we started going there, and we would try to go like once a month or something like that. We can't even get in there anymore because it's so packed.
What's that? Ohio
Yeah,
Deli?
yeah.
It's the
They have
Ohio
interesting
Deli.
hours
Yes.
too.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So
Woodside. See, thanks.
That's the name of the. That's the name of the pizza
Yes.
spot.
And it's right
Let's
there on
go.
the corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's so packed.
So
So
I think-
I'm so happy that they're packed. But can you
Can
save
we
me
order?
a seat,
Can we
please?
order
I
to
just
go
need a
pick some
table.
up? Can we
Man,
get some today?
yeah.
Woodside, if you're out there listening, we
Right.
want to come and get some pizza today and support y'all. But we can't tell you how good you are unless we have some. So
Right.
we would love to
Yes.
tell you. We'll get Jalen on here too to talk
they said
about
Ohio
it.
Deli
That'd
is
be
my
good.
fave.
It's so
At least
good.
we're so excited to be across the street from y'all too.
I know.
So excited.
Yes.
We got a little. Well, we don't, but we're gonna share it.
What's
Yeah,
that?
we
We
got
got
a
a
little
little
about-
balcony view, so
I
you
think
share
the other
with
thing
somebody.
is there's another part of downtown. Like we always like go through like the Cleveland Avenue
Yeah.
in the market. But if you go down the hill, that's where like the Ohio Deli, like Walnut,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
You're
Like,
scaring me. I
there
thought you
are
were-
people that are trying to start
Okay, you're right.
businesses down there
You're right.
too, and it's
Shout out
like
to them.
like so
Mugwigs.
take a peek.
Mugwigs.
Mugwigs.
Yeah.
They've been around. There's been a lot of like
Yes.
nonprofit meetings that
Yeah.
go on
Yeah.
at Mugwigs and things like that. So.
Yeah.
Just really like
should
kind of
get a
go
list.
down the hill a little bit. There's some places
Some
down there. It ain't
places.
scary. It ain't
Maybe
scary.
you know what, guys. If you would like to be a traveling community sponsor,
Hey.
maybe one of our sponsors, what we could do is do a whole tour of the food downtown and go and taste it and try
That would
it and
be
talk to
really
the
cool.
owners and
Yeah.
give you guys a behind the scenes of what is downtown. Because
Love that.
if you don't know, then we'll do our job and we'll help you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So the conversation has been great. Listen, this episode, this topic today is all about community. How we are investing in our community, being a part of our community. Are we just living here? Are we or are we showing up? Are we investing? Are we advocating? Right. Just because you don't work for the city doesn't mean you can't help those that do work for the city. If you want to work for the city, baby, go apply.
Go apply.
No, so we're gonna transition real quick. It is MentorStark Moment. Okay, another opportunity to see what's going on in the community. And when we get back, we are going to be going into our mayor's corner. We have the mayor in the building along with Christian Turner. We'll be right back after this.
Want to make a real impact? Project Rebuild is transforming lives in Canton, Ohio through hands-on job training, education, and personal growth. Their Youth Build program equips young people with real-world skills in construction, leadership, and career readiness, empowering them to build a brighter future. Project Rebuild needs mentors like you to guide and inspire the next generation. By becoming a Youth Build mentor, you'll empower young people to build confidence, gain valuable skills, and shape their own success. If you're ready to make a difference in your community, scan the QR code to apply today.
Welcome back. We are now in the segment of the Mayor's Corner. I'm so excited for this segment. I'm so excited that we were able to bring this to life. How are you guys doing this morning? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes, Christian, how you feeling?
Wonderful. Thank you for having us again.
So we have the mayor and Miss Christian. And last month, I almost said week again. You were here and you kicked off the Mayor's Corner when we talked about the C-Click fix. Has anyone put any requests in for potholes or anything?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's go.
Yes. You know, there was one I didn't put it in. I don't know.
She about to tell y'all now. I just want to tell you right now, if you can go fix it.
Right by my house.
There's one on 3rd Street.
I kept wanting to get out and do it. But I think someone did it because it was filled. It was good. I said, okay, cool. Someone in my community held it down for us. So thank you guys for that. So what are we talking about today on the Mayor's Corner?
Start us off.
Well, I guess we're going to talk about income tax and how, we just recently passed a budget for the city.
Okay.
It's a $343 million budget.
Okay.
Canton's the 8th largest city in the state of Ohio, and we definitely got a lot going on. And it involves a lot of capital projects. Okay. And so, wherever you want to start.
Yeah, I love that because I'm excited about just, again, bridging the gap with us and the community and getting people the information that they need. Again, like Christian, but people, they will have this misconception of something because they just don't know, right? They don't know. They think that we're giving all of our tax money to the city and nothing's being done with it. And you just said, how much?
$343 million.
Let's talk about that, okay? That's a lot of money. What can we see in the city start to change and be affected by that much money?
Well, right now, out of the $343 million, $76.6 million is based on the general fund.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of different components of the city. When you think about the general fund, almost 60% of the general fund out of $76 million is earmarked towards safety. Between law enforcement, the Canton Fire, and stuff like that, and then safety has to be paramount for the residents of the city. But we have a lot of other different departments that kind of survive on the money that they generate, and they're called enterprise funds. So to give an example, a great example would be like the water department. Everybody gets a bill, every month. That their water bill, sewer, the sanitation department.
Right.
Another enterprise fund would be our building department. When you think about code enforcement, code enforcement's responsibility is to protect the residents from the bad landlords. And I have to be mindful that 47% of the houses in the city of Canton are owned by landlords. And we have some really...
What percentage?
That's 40, a high
40.
It's almost 50%.
Wow.
Yes.
And we have some really good landlords in the city. We really do. And we also have some really bad ones. We have landlords that prey on people with mental health, let people live in a place without running potable water. Very terrible conditions. Another component would be our health department. When you think about environmental health, obviously the hot topic was the rat house in the city of Canton.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
what was that? Whose house was that? Was that
there was a lady that had some mental health challenges. Okay, in the Southwest End. That she had an organization where she was trying to rescue pet rats.
Wow.
And eventually things got out of control.
And they were reproducing, I'm assuming.
And it was really, really bad, where the city had to do a search warrant. You had the health department, you had the building department. Wow. But it's just, for me, it has to be about a quality of life. It has to be everybody. The issues that we face in the city and Canton are not Democrat or Republican issues. They're not. And it has to be about our neighborhoods. It has to be about our residents. But, every department has a lot of responsibility, but there's a lot of residents that are depending on those departments to do their job and do the right thing. So, getting back to the budget, out of that $334 million, it also includes a lot of major infrastructure projects. So when you think about paving, one of my goals is to pave every alley in the city of Canton in the first 4 years. So how many?
Wow.
And we always get compared to Plain and North Canton when it comes to snow plowing. There really is no comparison because Canton has 1,100 miles of roads. Plain has 200, and North Canton's probably about 150, 160 miles of road. And so there really is no comparison. But when you think about even making a comment that we're going to have the opportunity, which is achievable, to pave every alley in the city, how many people live on an alley and they've been forgotten about?
Right.
But we're also going to step up our paving program in our neighborhoods. We're also working on every main thoroughfare in the city, so Market Avenue is going to get finished this year.
That's what I'm talking about. I live on Market Avenue.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right. She's like, let's go.
Cleveland Avenue is going to get paved from 8th to 50th to the city limits.
Wow, that's awesome.
But we're also working on a section. Cleveland Avenue is the Hall of Fame parade route, so we're doing streetscape a section at a time. So this year, you're going to get from 8th to 12th, it's going to be a complete new streetscape, new sidewalks, and we're going to continue to work north. We had secured a grant through the federal government from Congressman Amelia Sykes that is fighting for us every day down here, and she's doing a wonderful job. For the East Husk project, which will do not quite about a mile and a half of East Husk, of complete streetscape. We're going to be continuing to work on West Husk.
Now, couple questions for you real quick. When you say streetscape,
I was just about to
I was going to say some of these terms
explain
just to make sure.
what a streetscape
What is a
So
streetscape?
A streetscape is going to be on the main thoroughfares. When you see new sidewalks, they're going to have the decorated brick. They're going to have the trees, decorative lighting posts, and everything. Now, you're not going to really see that in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And we're
But
gonna
on the main
and
streets.
we're going to get into we'll get into the discussion about our plan for the neighborhoods. But it's really, improving our city one block at a time.
That's
I
so
love
exciting
that.
because Tusk is rough. Me and Danny live in the Southwest, like off of Tusk. So.
Well, I'll tell you what's even, if you go off the Cherry Street Bridge heading south towards Sherrick Road, I mean, it's brutal down there.
Right.
Yeah.
But we also have another major, the 11th Street Southeast, sewer project, which we're going to tie that into the two neighborhood projects that we have for this year. The targeted areas are going to be Sherrick Road and Vassar Park. So what we did was we came up with a plan that if the city only had so much money to target 2 neighborhoods per year, what were those neighborhoods? Which neighborhoods would they be? So we identified 16 neighborhoods, and the list could grow. And we want to be fair to all 4 quadrants of the city: northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. And the consensus was that those 2 neighborhoods this year are going to be Vassar Park and Southeast. So it's easy for me to say that. And this is going to tie into 11th Street and coming off the Cherry Street Bridge, which that's all going to be redone. It's easy for me to say that if we want to improve somebody's neighborhood, we can start by paving their damn street.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
That's easy for me to say.
Yeah.
But the challenge that I seen in the past was the city would do a project and make a minimal impact. When I talk about going into these neighborhoods, we're going to make the biggest impact that we can, and then we're going to move on to the next neighborhood. So we are working with Habitat for Humanity about exterior grants for houses. We're going to be working for Canton for All People. They're building houses in the city.
Yes.
We are going to make a huge push for building housing in the city of every level. I'm talking from homeless to low income to moderate income to workforce income. We expanded our grants in the city. So previously, like our sidewalk program's a 50-50 program. So if you wanted to get new sidewalks in front of your house, it was only geared towards homeowners. So I have to be mindful that almost half the houses in the city are owned by landlords.
And
so
what do they care? They're not stepping out there. They don't see it.
So one thing that I said 1,000 times, we truly need to do this one block at a time. But are we just going to do half the block?
Wow.
So the first thing we did was we expanded our sidewalk program to include landlords.
Right.
But we put some teeth in it. That if that landlord has no issue with code enforcement, with the building department, has no issue with the health department, pays their taxes on time, and is doing the right thing, absolutely they can apply.
Okay.
The bad ones will never meet that criteria.
Right.
But so the next thing we came up with an exterior grant component for housing. So let's say somebody wanted to improve when you talk about improving the housing stock in the city, somebody wanted to vinyl side their house or do some exterior improvements, they could qualify and apply for a grant through the city and get up to $10,000 to offset what they're paying out of pocket.
My whole house needs new siding.
So, hey, can apply.
My whole house.
And
That's funny you said that because I was like,
something else that we also do is like sometimes people fall behind with code enforcement. Right. So we partner with community building partnership to where, you know, blight is a big problem in the city, and we end up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to tear houses down because blight is like homes that fall into disrepair to the point to where they need to be torn
abandoned
down.
homes that are right.
So what happens is people can't keep up with the repair. So when someone is cited from building code, they get a form, but they also get a brochure that points them towards resources. So we partner with community building partnership to say, hey, here are the things that we can help you with so you don't fall behind. So then in turn, we don't eventually end up having to tear that house down. But we can help them out when they do have code enforcement issues. We can help them get back up to code.
That's awesome.
Well, think about this. Think about how many seniors live within the city that live on a fixed income. That don't have the necessary finances to make those repairs. And we've had, and Christian's correct, we've had a great relationship with community building partnership, which we've helped fund them. And they're also tied into the neighborhood associations. And I'm a firm believer, all the neighborhood associations in the city are very impactful because they know what's going on in their block. And when Christian talked about, you know, fighting blight, you could have one house on that block that's going to bring the whole block down. So last year we spent probably the most we've ever spent on demolitions last year, and we probably spent $1.2 million.
Wow.
But somebody can easily think, well, how come you can't give us that house before you demo it? Well, technically the city does not own it. So what happens is with the process, we put the city puts the order to demo, and if we demo a house, it needs to be demoed. The city, we technically do not own the land, so then the land goes to the county land bank, and then we probably have to wait at least 2 to 2.5 years to file a TAP application. But what we're doing right now with all these vacant lots throughout the city that we're currently mowing, we're currently using tax dollars, because obviously if you had a vacant lot in a neighborhood that's still a decent neighborhood, you don't want to see the grass 4 feet tall and stuff like that.
It's a whole new problem.
But we're making an aggressive, taking an aggressive position of acquiring these lots through those TAP applications for building housing. You know, you have Steve Kuhn wants to start working with, you know, Mike Doss and Kenny Peterson. They want to start building houses.
I've heard
we
that.
need,
That's great.
when you talk about public-private partnerships, of all of us working together.
Yeah, that's what it needs to be. I have a question for you. So everything sounds good, right? And there's people who listen, and it's like it's easy to say all these things are working and great, right? But there's people who are like, yeah, it sounds nice. My street still isn't plowed. There's still potholes, and they're not happy, right? So you have one. I think it's a great point. There's far more miles of road in Canton than there is in Plain and North Canton. That's a big deal. Like you said, I mean, North Canton has 90% less roads. It sounds like you said, like 120 miles versus 1,100 miles, something crazy. That's a huge difference. So I never knew that. I always said North Canton must have heated streets. That's what I'm like, I don't know how they keep these streets so clean. I was always amazed. But so that's a big deal. But that also means that in theory, one would think, and this may not be true, that means you have way more trucks, way more tax revenue, way more stuff. You have more potholes. Well, yeah, but you got way more tax revenue, way more stuff. So it's like, it seems as though you'd have more to attack the problem. Who cares that you have more miles of street? You have more dollars, you have more trucks, you have more salt, you have more stuff to fill the potholes. So tell us why we should care and how it's not an equal problem. It's a percentage thing, so it shouldn't be any different.
Well, and I'll say this. I think everybody that we have on the payroll for the city, I think they do a fantastic job. And one thing that we did do was, I'll give you an example. 3 years ago, we got 10 inches of snow before Christmas, and 2 days later, we got another 10 and crippled literally the whole city.
Yes.
And you have to understand that the street department is in charge of plowing, okay? They're in charge of filling potholes, but like paving would be our engineering department and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't realize that we're responsible for Route 62 in the city. We're responsible for Route 30 in the city, not 77. These are our obligations because of the agreements with ODOT and stuff like that. But what we did was when they're plowing, when we got all that snow, that we had to come up with a different way to, to try to solve the problem. So we came up with, if we get 6 inches of snow, it's all hands on deck. Now, obviously, somebody can say that they have more trucks. Actually, we probably have the same amount as North Canton, believe it or not.
That's the question. That's my question.
But you have to understand that, like, a back truck for cleaning out the catch basins is $500,000. If you want a tandem axle dump truck with a plow package for 77 and stuff like that, you're talking like $400,000. And obviously, we survive on people working, so we survive on income tax. There's a lot of communities that have road levies. There's a lot of communities that have police and fire levies, and we survive on people working. And where I come from, I mean, good paying jobs do solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
When you really think about how many people in this country are not going to be able to retire someday and will be working for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But getting back to, the perception, I think our guys do a fantastic job. And what we did was the policy that we came up with, if we get 6 inches of snow, it's all hands on deck. So what do I mean by that? Every different department, there's 22 different departments in the city. If they got a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton pickup, because usually with plowing, they're going to do the mains first before they get to the neighborhoods. But if we got 6 inches of snow, it's all hands on deck. So if we got a couple pickups from parks and we got a couple pickups from the water department and all the different departments for the city, and obviously those guys will probably be working overtime. And it was funny because last year we were supposed to get 6 inches, and I told our service director, John Hyman, I said, let's give it a shot. That way, if we got any bugs to work out. And of all people, who came up to me was Thomas West. Tom West. Now, Tom was on council for 13 years. He was state rep for 6.
Yeah.
Tom came up to me, and me and Tom have been friends for a long time, and he goes, did you do that? I said, what the heck are you talking about? He goes, I was on council for 13 years, and I couldn't even get my alley plowed. But that's what makes the difference when you're trying to, try to provide the best service you can for the residents of the city and be reactive instead of...
Right.
So.
Right. I love that. Great answer. I mean, I think those are things we don't know. And I didn't know. I mean, I was asking, honestly, I didn't know why is it like that? Because I always assume it's a percentage thing. So it's easy to say you have more roads, but then that means you have more dollars. I also think when you think about housing, there's and taxes being a percent of the housing value, and you look at the housing value of a house in Jackson, North Canton, there's a lot more higher value homes, and then therefore those taxes are higher, property taxes, other things like that also can have a big impact on things. So it is an interesting dilemma in a city like ours that people probably don't take into account. And then nobody likes taxes on anything. We don't want any tax on anything, but we want everything to be fixed. We want tax return, like give me all my money back and then fix all my problems as though there's magic money to fix everything.
I'll give you a great example. Sit down in Columbus, and I'm seriously thinking about hiring a lobbyist for the city for somebody to speak on our behalf down in Columbus, right? They passed this through the House, and it passed by 70%. And then just think about the ramifications about this. That if this passes through the Senate, that no township or city in the state of Ohio can do a replacement levy.
Meaning
you would have to survive on the same amount of generated income, right? So you think about this: wages go up, contracts go up, the cost of living goes up, everything.
Right.
And for them to do that, I don't understand why they're going that direction. So when I talk about the city hiring a lobbyist to fight on our behalf, and
it would be valuable to hire that person.
There's no doubt about that.
Because at the end of the day, they'd save us a ton of money.
But I got a couple items I was going to bring you.
Sure.
So when we talk about the city of Canton's budget of $334 million, and that's compared to $322 last year. Appropriations are a legislative act by which money is placed or assigned in a proper account for the budgetary authority, which is the city. Appropriations are anticipated revenues plus cash carryover from the previous year, and we could also have projects that also carry over from the previous year. That is available for expenditures by the city. Appropriations are also monies anticipated to be available, but not necessarily spent. So to give you a great example, when everybody was concerned about their property taxes going up, so many people were calling the city, which they should have called the county auditor at the time.
Interesting.
because that process is handled by, it was formerly Alan Harold. Now he's a county commissioner now. And we have nothing to do with property taxes. Now we get a very, very, very small percentage of property taxes as generated revenue from the city.
So you're saying so you said when people were upset, they should have, but you're really saying at any point when people are upset, that's the process. It is not. So if that happens in the future, is that what you're saying? It's a process.
Even if it happens in the future, there is an appeal process through the county auditor's
But
office.
it is a county decision.
Yeah,
you're saying it is not something to be calling the city and calling the mayor and saying, you're raising my property taxes.
We have nothing to do with that.
That's an interesting point. Okay, because I didn't know that, and I don't think most people knew that. You just assume it's your city council, it's your mayor, and you guys are doing it to us.
But we talked about the general fund, so there was 70 out of that $343 million. The general fund is almost 76.6 million. The police budget is 22.9 million. Fire's budget is 20.9 million. We have our crime lab, which all the communities in the county kind of pay their fair share, for the crime lab.
Fascinating. CSI type stuff? We get what? We want to come down and
well,
see this
what
now.
they do is, I would say that. You could
Okay.
probably say that.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, this is fun. We didn't know we
had.
had a little CSI lab. We didn't know.
But
Okay.
the crime lab, our allocation from the city was $688,000 just for wages and benefits. The water department is $24.6 million compared to $29.3 last year, because obviously we have less projects in replacing water lines with the water department. So with the water department, our goal is to replace 7 to 8 miles of water lines per year. And you think about the infrastructure in the city of Canton, that's over 100 years old, but we just do not supply water to Canton. We supply water to everybody.
Yep.
And when you think about economic development, you can't have economic development and good paying jobs without resources like water.
Yeah.
And whoever 70 or 80 years ago found the largest water aquifer down in Sugar Creek Township, which we own, and we annexed the land back down there back in the day, and we pump that water 18 miles north of Canton, which we supply water. Now, obviously, the city of North Canton has their own water and some different municipalities, but even with the city of Columbus, how much they're growing down there, they have a huge issue because, not saying they're running out of water, but they will have a problem eventually.
That's not a thing that we think about. I assume
We're going to build Intel. Okay, well, how are they going to get water?
Wow.
And one of the ways that so Canton is only so big, right? But one of the ways that we are able to have businesses join the city is, hey, I want to build this business. Okay, well, how are you going to have water? Well, we'll supply you water, but you need to annex your business into the city so that we can generate the taxes from from your business. So we use water as a resource in order for people
it's
to
a leverage.
annex into
It's
the
a
city.
lever.
Well,
what taxes is it? Do you guys get a payroll tax? What taxes is it? What taxes does a business bring to the?
It would be the generated income tax.
The generated income tax. Okay.
People working.
And
But it is a leverage. I mean, obviously somebody can dig a well or they can have our water.
Yeah, that's smart.
But we need to take an aggressive position because at the end of the day, nobody's going to take care of us but us.
Right.
I mean, when you look at on a national level what's going on and what even down in Columbus, and it just at the end of the day, we are going to take. If they would have took that position 80 years ago, you think about the city of Columbus. Columbus is almost all of Franklin County right now because they took that position.
Yeah.
And not saying that if the city of Canton would have took that position 70 to 80 years ago, there really probably would be no Plain Township, there would be no Canton Township, there would be no Perry Township.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
Now, it doesn't mean that we need to work with our neighbors. There's no doubt about that, and I'm going to touch on that. But also we have to take an aggressive position.
Interesting. This is fascinating. I never thought about stuff like this. You just show up in a city. I mean, I was born and raised in Canton, and I never thought about things like that. Like there's Canton. I never knew. I mean, I remember thinking McKinley, what my parents always called the new McKinley, because they went to the old McKinley. They were like, it's so close to Canton Township or something else. They were like, there's people right across the street that don't come to McKinley and all this. I used to hear all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was always fascinated by stuff like that, but I didn't understand it. I was just like, that's just the way it is. Never thinking, how are these lines drawn and when did this stuff happen? And could Canton have taken a stronger position or not, and why? And water. Again, water is something that in our life, we take almost as a right. And we hear about it. I remember growing up seeing people on TV talking about give 7 cents a day so people could have food and wells and water. And I'm like, water? What are we talking about here, right? But it is a fascinating thing that we have found water. We were wise enough to annex that water, as you said, pumping it 18 miles here, leveraging it to get people into the city. Those are smart things that we want our city to be doing. If I'm a business, I'm going to do smart things to leverage my studio to do good things. And we want our city to be smart.
But also, when you think about, even though we supply water to everybody else, we're responsible for that infrastructure. I mean, we sell water to Hartville. I mean, literally. So there's miles and miles and miles. And the concentration is, the oldest infrastructure we have is obviously in the city of Canton. And it's just trying to be smart about things. I mean, the budget for sewer is $35.3 million compared to $29 million last year because of some of the major infrastructure projects. And also, one of the biggest projects we have with sewer is our WRF, our waste treatment facility, which is just down the street from here.
Down the street.
I did not know that.
My dad used to do that.
We just don't, and I'll try to be
Ours smells a lot better than Masslin's.
Correct when I
smells
say
better.
this, that we don't take the waste from just Canton, we take the waste from everybody.
Do we?
And we have a
take
county,
Masslin's.
we have an agreement with the county, and we have an $8 million project that you think about if that waste treatment facility shut down or we had a problem, we would have a major problem, which is also regulated by the EPA and stuff. But it's just, you got to keep up with infrastructure, you got to keep up with improvements, and the cost of doing business. It's not getting any cheaper. It's
not at all.
And one of the ways, and I'll let him explain this, but one of the ways that we do partner with the townships is through JEDs.
So what a JED is, when I talked about working with our neighbors, so annexation is a position that we're taking right now, but the city has the ability to collect income tax. So in 2018, Issue 13 passed, and Issue 13 was, historically, the income tax rate for people working in the city was 2%. And the voters had to approve this to raise it to 2 to 2.5%. Now, this is just an increase on generated income tax on people working, but you can't raise taxes without having a plan. So, obviously everything is spelled out, with the allocation. A certain percentage goes into general fund, a certain percentage goes into comprehensive plan funds, a certain percentage goes into neighborhood funds. And so the majority of the infrastructure projects that we do are comprehensive plan funds. But when you think about Jackson Township, or you think about Perry Township, they do not have that component to collect that income tax. So a JED is a Joint Economic Development District. So a great example would be the New Myers grocery store at Belton Village. That whole plaza with all the shops, all the restaurants. We entered into a JED agreement with Jackson Township, which gives them us the ability to collect income tax out there, even though it's not the city of Canton.
Interesting.
So out of that 2.5%, the city gets 1% for just collecting it. And that's 1% that we didn't have before. But Jackson Township gets 1.5 for additional revenue that
which they wouldn't have been able to even collect
before. Right. So currently we have 7 JEDs with Jackson, and we have 1 JED with Perry Township. But this is about being able to work with your neighbors to generate additional revenue.
Next time we're taking the 1.5. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that's smart stuff though, because I, as a business person, there's a lot of debate now. We have a bit of I would say an overreach with government being run like business, because there is the privatization of government could go too far, and that government has to be for the people, by the people, right? But there is a component of, this is a big budget, it is a big business that we have to run, and there's levers that can be pulled and things we need to do, and it is not manipulation in the negative sense. It is, how do we maneuver ourselves to look out there and say, well, they're getting 0% of the money. We could use our position, something that we have, to allow for this 2.5% to be on the table. Now that it's on the table, you now get 1.5%, we get 1%. Before, 0% was available. Let's work together. That is a wonderful thing to be able to do, and it's smart. It's good business. I don't think we think about our city making those smart moves.
Well, and I'll give you another great example. So we came up with an admissions tax, entertainment tax in the city. And the biggest issue that I had, and I don't have a problem being blunt about this, I have my opinion. I want to see the Hall of Fame Village be successful.
Yes.
That's a very hot topic in the city of Canton. I also want to protect the residents on the investment that they didn't have a choice on.
Yeah.
But
fair.
when you think about the total financial impact, so I had our economic development director, Chris Hardstee, really bright kid.
Yeah.
I said, Chris, I want to know the total financial impact of what the city has given the village. Yeah. From 8 years of Jamie Healy to 8 years of Tom till now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Yes.
And since they started,
almost 20 years of this?
Since when they started the stadium.
I didn't realize that.
So this is just not the city cutting a check.
Right.
Obviously, the city of Canton gave $5 million for the stadium. Just gave them $5 million back in the day, $5 million that the city did not even have.
Wow.
That's number one. And we have 2 loans floating out there totaling $8.5 million. And I want to make sure that we get our money back. That's priority. That's going to be foremost.
Yeah.
But the total financial impact, when you figure every tax incentive, every grant, every TIF, every TDD, which is a tourism development district, the total financial impact that the city has given. Now, this is just not cutting a check. It's pushing $200 million.
I was guessing a number in my head. It wasn't that high.
But the issue and the challenge that I have is there has to be a return benefit coming back.
Has to.
That we can hire more safety forces, that we
almost
can
like a
pave
quarter
more
of a
roads,
billion.
because this is just not a one-way street. It's not.
Man.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Is that village actually in the city?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Because I think a lot of people had those questions because of where it's located.
Well, so the Hall of Fame is actually on a park. So that
makes a
that area
difference.
is actually Ink Park. So Ink
Okay.
Park used to run from where the stadium is all the way through to Arboretum Park, which is 38th Street. Ink Park now, so across from, where the gas station is next to Jersey's.
Yes.
If you go across through the trail, that's now Ink Park. But all of Avondale, all of that used to be Ink Park. So there's an agreement with the museum that they lease that land. There's an
Okay.
agreement there for, so it's technically park property, but it's an agreement for that. So that part is in the city.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, the identity for the city of Canton has always been the Hall of Fame Museum, not the village.
Yes.
No, I do want to see them be successful.
Yeah.
Obviously, but
Is the village outside? Is it?
no, it's in the city.
It is in the city.
Yep,
The
yep.
revenue would come into the city.
Yes,
It's
yes.
not its own thing. So there's not this fear, because I always thought there'd be this fear of, and maybe there is still some, that it could become almost like the new downtown or strip downtown. I mean, I don't know. Is there some concern about
No,
this in some way? Are we
I wouldn't.
the revenue is the revenue. The city is the city.
Yeah,
If it works,
yeah.
it works. Okay.
Well, we want to do, look, you want to be successful, but, so we came up with our admissions tax. So when Carrie Underwood has a concert at Tom Benson Stadium, 90% of the people that go to that concert aren't from here.
Right. Which helps us.
So you think about the
Danny,
city.
you were just talking about that.
You think about the city of Sandusky. How do they survive?
Cedar
They survive
Point.
on a place called Cedar Point
Yep.
for 8 months out of the year.
Yep.
And they have, up at Cedar Point in Sandusky, they have an 8% admissions tax and a parking
8%.
tax.
Wow.
You cannot do more than 8% in the state of Ohio. So one of the challenges that I have is when I talk about everything the city has given the village, build into that TDD, that Tourism Development District, is a 5% emissions tax, and nothing comes back. Nothing. Everything,
Right.
all that revenue generated stays right back
Right.
up there. So what we did was we came up with our own emissions tax at 3% because you can't do more than 8,
right.
Because they already have 5, and we're
Yep.
going to do our 3. And we think about like our Civic Center when we're having a sold out concert at the Civic Center. It could be the Factory of Terror. It includes golf courses. When you talk about entertainment tax and stuff, we had the Palace Theater.
Right.
We're talking about doing ticketed events downtown at Centennial Plaza now
Okay.
this summer with
Interesting.
concerts and stuff. But we can take that generated revenue from that 3% and earmark it strictly for economic development.
So smart.
So when we talked about small business grants that so let's just say that I would love to see you in the city. I know that you're kind of looking right now.
Yes, love to
right?
be closer.
That you could apply for an interior grant and get up to $25,000.
Wow.
Let's just say you wanted to put a new storefront with signage. We have a storefront grant that you could apply. If you got to spend the money to get the money.
Yeah.
So if you spent $50,000, you could get $25,000 back from the city.
Wow.
We have a demolition grant, which Ryan that owns Delhi, Ohio. So he bought the corner building on 3rd and Walnut. So if that demolition is geared towards economic development, we're going to help him pay for the demolition.
Wow.
You have a Realm grant that. The Realm grant is if you had your small business, you want to pave the parking lot, put new sidewalks, you can apply for a grant, for that.
Right.
And we can take that emissions tax, and all those grants are paid out of comprehensive plan funds. So let's say we're probably allocating $500,000 to $600,000. We can use that emissions tax. Why not tax people from other communities? When somebody goes on vacation,
they kill us.
Look,
the
you
tourism,
go to Hawaii,
man.
you're going to go out to eat, you're going to pay
Anywhere,
the money. You're
Florida, everywhere you go.
Yeah,
and you know it. And you
that.
go in there and you're like, you know what's happening. You're like, yeah, they're making us pay more because we're here.
But
It's a tourist
obviously,
town.
the village had an issue with us doing this, and I had a long conversation with, Mr. Crawford's no longer at the
Yes.
village right now.
Right.
And I don't think I'll be getting a Christmas card
Okay, from him.
That's okay.
Yeah, I love that.
But having said that,
Right.
you know, they had an issue about that. Well, this is going to price them out of the market. Well, they've already priced themselves out of the market because people are leaving the Dome and coming back to our Civic Center.
Yes,
and I'll call it
quickly.
for affordable family entertainment.
That is true. That Dome, right? They could have done, yeah.
so.
It's unfortunate. It could be used a lot more. But I think supply and demand will force them to adjust, right? You're going to look at it and say, well, if it's underutilized, that means the market is not asking for this at that price. And then hopefully they'll adjust those things. I am excited to hear these things.
Too.
This
Yeah,
is
so
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting just to see, like, it's one thing to hear things like we talked about, but then to actually start seeing things like happen, like, just the infrastructure being updated and just hearing all of the, what did you call it again? On the street, the make it pretty with the lights and all that.
On streetscape.
Streetscape.
Like,
The word of the day is
all right.
streetscape, ladies and gentlemen.
I like that. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question about the housing piece. So you talked about 47% are owned by landlords, which is probably the reason. This goes back to the question that we had earlier about what is our community responsibility as people to keep our community, active and positive and those types of things. So when you talk about home ownership in the city, that would change the dynamic of the city. How are we going to get information out to folks that they can even buy a home? Because I think a lot of times, a lot of the folks that I run into with the families that I work with and things like that, they don't even think about the possibility of buying a home, of home ownership. Like, to them, renting is like
The only option.
yeah,
That's
it's like it really is.
I might
the only
move. I'm
option.
moving soon.
And-
Where?
and
To another
these
place I
are-
can rent.
Right, and these are people with children and all of that. And I'm like, wait a second, did you know that you can buy a home? So, is the city going to partner with? And I don't know where the funding comes from, but I don't know if you're like partnering with banks or what that looks like, or credit unions or things like that. Or if you just have your own pot. But down payment assistance, you guys provide down payment assistance.
We talked about this
now.
last time.
Right, last time, right? How do we get that information out to people so that they know, like, this is a possibility, that I can own a home in my community?
Well, and I'll say this, like Beth Lechner from Habitat for Humanity and Pastor Don Ackerman for Can for All People. So Habitat's a completely different organization, which are truly a non-for-profit. All their materials are donated, stuff like that, but you have to go through their workshops and they gear you to be a homeowner.
Right.
And you're going to help with the build, you're going to do the whole 9 yards. Can for All People is a little bit different. We're not saying they're for-profit, but when we received the ARPA money for the city of Canton, so the city of Canton, and I kind of wish we could go back in time, because obviously I would do things a little bit differently, but we gave $3 million, which I was all for this, to Habitat, and $3 million to Can for All People. The money for Can for All People is already allocated. So some of the projects I got going on where the Canton Inn used to be on West Husk, that's going to be the Newton Family Apartments. It's going to be affordable
that's
apartments. But they're also building houses. We're probably working on 10 to 15 houses right now. So let's say somebody was paying rent at $1,100 a month. That if it cost $170,000 to build that, if that homeowner can only afford up to $170,000 through the financing, and both Habitat and Camp for All People work with banks to try to get it where it's affordable, basically whatever they were paying for their rent. So what it is let's just say you have they can only afford $170,000, but the house costs $220,000 to build. Right. They're bridging that gap and keeping that payment the same as what they would be paying for rent. But also, one key component of that is we have it's called a CRA. A CRA is if you build a house in the city of Canton, you can qualify that you don't pay any property taxes for 15 years.
Wow.
Now,
Look,
I respect the heavy debate about how we should fund our schools.
Okay.
I respect the heavy debate about property taxes. But we need to do, and it's not like we're reinventing the wheel.
Right.
This is very popular to the state of Ohio and around the country that
this has been done. You're not making this up.
You think about the impact that they wouldn't have to pay property taxes for 15 years. Even if they kept the house for 10 years and they sold it, after 10 years and there's still 5 years left on that last 5 years transfers to the buyer.
Wow.
Now the schools are going to be screaming about their funding and stuff.
Yeah.
Which the schools still get $6,000 to $8,000 from the state per kid per household. But we need to do whatever we need to do to attract single families to want to raise their kids.
In our school system.
Well, a great example. Remember the Corey Golf Course? Remember all those lots down there were vacant? They're all filled.
Wow.
And that is the city of Canton.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
That's out there.
And with us building houses in the city, it's going to be a lot of infill. The days of us stacking houses right beside each other are over.
Okay.
It really takes 2 lots to build a house.
Yeah, that's good.
But what we're doing is trying to identify those lots so we can acquire those lots so we can basically give them to the Mike Dosses and Kenny Petersons of the world to build housing.
Explain the land reutilization program.
And so the land reutilization program, so when I talk about, it takes basically 2 lots to make a lot to build a house. So we have a lot of smaller lots that we're continuing to mow, and using tax dollars to maintain those lots, and they're not big enough to build a house on. So we came up with a land reutilization program that, let's just say you had a vacant lot right beside your house, and you wanted to buy that lot. We would have to charge you what the county auditor, Alan Harold at the time, had listed on the auditor's site. So let's just say that vacant lot was going to be $4,000. Now there's a lot of people in the city that just can't afford that.
Right.
So we had these lots reappraised based on zip code. So instead of $4,000, maybe that lot may be $1,100.
Wow.
And what we're looking at is to get rid of these lots so we don't have to maintain them and mow them anymore. But maybe somebody might want a bigger yard for their kids to play in.
Yes.
Maybe they might want to put a garden in. Maybe they might want to build a garage.
That's beautiful. That's awesome.
House
Yes.
and stuff like that, and just make it affordable. But getting back to the communication aspect.
But what I was going to add is some of these lots are big enough to where if someone that was responsible enough wanted to purchase 2 lots together to build a new home, they could.
That's awesome. That's
But getting back to how do we get the word out, one of the smartest moves I ever made since in the last 15 months is hiring a communications director.
Okay, yes, shout out to her. Let's give a hand. Christian Turner in the building. And a brilliant one at that. Beautiful and brilliant. You got the right one. She does good. She does
but
good
we
work.
need to do a better job. We can do all the positive things in the world, but if we can't communicate.
That's a great point.
But it's about all of us, whether it's social media, whether it's our text message notifications that Christian talked about before. It just are updating our website and everything else and getting the word out.
Yes.
I think we have a show. We believe in marketing. We believe in storytelling. That's what we do as a business. That's what this is all about. And too often, I think in a business, people are bad at internal marketing, so they don't tell their team and their staff what's going on enough. In a country, the bigger government doesn't tell their people enough what's going on. It's left to the news to decipher and give their opinions on, almost like it's a sport, and they're just telling their opinion or something. It's very odd. And then in cities, so often, someone like yourself may not come on a show like this. They can say, Lucas Live, what is this? This is some local grassroots thing, right? You go on John P. the MC's Say What You Mean podcast. What's a podcast, right? The mayor of the city's not sitting on a couch in a podcast or something like that, but you are, right? Yeah. You are. And Christian's out in the city, and she's at everything, and she talks to people, and she's been here with us before many times, and you guys have committed to coming on monthly. I mean, somebody just texted me just a few minutes ago and was like, I love this. Like, they don't know this stuff. Yeah. We don't know this stuff. So you could be making all the change in the world. There's a quote that says, you can have great ideas, but if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. Yeah. And that's what's happening now. You're getting these ideas out there. It's not an election campaign thing that now I want to tell you what I did right before you have to vote. It's like, no, I want to tell you what I'm doing while I'm doing it and how to engage it so we can make a difference, not so I can just get your vote.
Well, to give you a great example, so, we go on Pam Cook every Tuesday morning after council. And the former mayor was religiously, he's the one that had to go on there, didn't let anybody else go on there and did stuff like that. Now, the audience that listens to Pam Cook in the morning is going to be a different audience that's listening to Lucas Live.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that audience still listens to Pam Cook every morning.
Loyally.
But it's getting out there and communicating and stuff. And I told Pam, I said, look, I don't have a problem going on every week. There's no issue with that at all.
Yeah.
But I think it's more impactful to have the people that are out there grinding, out there doing the work.
Yeah.
So last year we had all the different department heads. These are the ones that are out there getting it done.
That's really good.
Having, Chief Bennett from the fire department.
Yeah, shout out to Akbar. Yeah.
From Canton PD and all the different departments.
Yeah.
Everything's, well, if I got a street problem, I need to call street. And it's educating them.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, this is who you need to call.
Yes.
So we can help streamline things.
Yeah, it's great. Communication is so key. I love this. Love it.
So we're like edging to wrapping up the mayor's corner, and I just wanted to hear final thoughts. You have been so. I mean, this was great.
Man,
you gave us so much information. Our numbers stayed steady. I think everybody was just like us, just listening and tuning in. And I really do love that we are able to do this for the community. I love that you were on John P's podcast. I love that you're here. And I just love seeing both of you guys bounce around and get out into the community and just educate them on how they can be a part, how they can help, what you guys can do for them. I wanted to take notes because I do own a home, and shout out to me, I just bought carpet, and I got people coming in to put carpet down, and I'm getting ready to thank you.
Right.
I'm getting ready to
Take care of that
restain my
house.
floors and paint the walls, and then outside is going to be what I focus on next, and I'm going to probably look into trying to get me a grant so I can get my siding done.
Yeah.
But things like that, we just don't know. We're stressing about it. It's $10,000. It's so much. It's like, how am I going to do this? And we budget, but our city, if we look to you guys, we can get some resources.
I'll say this, when you think about $343 million, right? We throw 80 grand around the city like it's nothing. And I can say this, as a mayor, 80 grand in my household is life-changing.
Right, right.
And I am no different, and I'm just a kid that grew up in this town.
Right, yeah.
And I'm no different than anybody that lives in this city.
I love that.
We love that. And my dad actually worked at the Timken company for a little bit, and he said that he knew you, and you were just a great guy. You would always come in and speak to everyone as if you were on their level. And I think that's one part of being a boss and a leader is to lead with your pack and not just be at the top and tell everybody to come.
I'll say this, when I ran for this, obviously there was a lot of people that came after me that, well, he's not qualified because he didn't go to college, he didn't do this. Every kid in this town. Now, don't get me wrong. When I graduated from McKinley in 1988, I could have left this town a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I'm proud to say that I never did. I'm proud to say that I went to a public school system.
Yes.
But every kid in this town should get the same shot that I got.
Yeah.
And when I go out and talk to the students in McKinley and tell them that, look, I sat in the same seat that you did.
Right.
And I spent more time trying to get out of school than I did applying.
Right.
And I wish I would have done things differently.
Sure, but you can be honest and say,
absolutely. But there's no reason why they couldn't. They could be right where I'm at right now, that they could even make a difference.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't realize I was looking for a job. I already had a damn job.
Right. I was doing fine.
It's what's in your heart, because I don't think anybody would be willing to do. I mean, yes, you have an obligation as the mayor, but you have stepped out and done things that we have never seen.
Well, I would say this. My first year, somebody had asked me how was my first year, and I said it could be worse. I could be the mayor of Akron right now.
It's a lot tougher.
I'm good where I'm at.
Yes. It's a lot more complicated.
But obviously, I had a very challenging first year.
Yes.
And one thing that we will be completely transparent, and that's what we've been since I've got this job, and that's not going to change. But I will let everybody judge me by how I handle things and what we get done around this city, and we are going to go after these neighborhoods.
Yes.
We are, because the strength of our city has to be our residents and it has to be our neighborhoods. It has to be.
Love
And
it.
I appreciate that. I live in
awesome.
the city. Like I said, I live right on Market, and I love the city.
Yes.
I love the city. I love the options that I have in the city. I love being close to my family. Like, and and I've lived outside the city, and it's nothing like being at home.
Well, you think about our parks. Doug Foltz, our parks director, and we're going to have a levy coming up. You know, we're going to be asking the voters. We have to, if we're going to move this city forward, we got to have stuff for our kids to do, but we have to have opportunities for them when they're done. Or why would they want to stay here?
Right.
Yep.
But we have a great park system. We really, really do. But we need to maintain that. So we're going to be asking the voters to approve that in November.
Yes.
Awesome.
And, you know, they've done a great job. And, you know, I just want to remind anybody that's listening to sign up for our mobile alerts at cantanohio.gov/alerts.
Love that. CantonOhio.gov
Keeps us all in the know of
/alerts.
what's going on in our city. Listen, I just want to thank you both for coming
Yes,
on.
thank
I
you all.
you guys
Yeah,
for
this was wonderful.
committing to do this every month. Again, I think I was getting text messages too.
Yeah.
But this is going to be great for our city, our community, and so impactful. So thank you. Guys,
Yeah, thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah,
Last
thank
thing I'm going to say
Please.
is First Friday is back. Next
Yes.
Friday.
All right. It's time to
Right.
get out
So
there.
we've got the
Do
people
it.
who do the fire entertainment.
Ooh.
And,
Okay, we're
so
gonna have our
Fire
little
Day
suite. We
next
need to get
Friday.
our
I saw that
Okay.
get our new
design,
studio
so
set up.
Fire
First Friday is
tonight.
back,
Little
so
office.
everybody come down and make sure you sign up for mobile alerts.
Awesome. Mobile
Yes.
alerts first Friday, next Friday. We are going to kick it over to our SCMBA and beyond. We are going to be hearing from Mr. Elijah with Taco Buddy. Listen to this. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elisha Jones. I'm currently the owner and the CEO of Taco Buddy. Taco Buddy is a Mexican and Jamaican fusion cuisine. My ingredients are fresh, vibrant, and bursting with flavor. What separates me from the competition is my food is unique and you won't find it anyplace else. So if you're looking for a taste of the island, you want to book me for an event, please give me a call at 330-289-9111, or you can email me at tacobuddy2020@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
All right, we are back. We're back. We're still kind of trying to get back
We're
here, I guess.
adjusted. It's okay. We're working it out. You know,
So
when you-
that was Taco Buddy, you guys. That was the Jamaican fusion tacos. I have not had one yet. So Elijah, if you out there, you should just pull up to the studio.
I
and
know.
give us some
For
tacos,
real.
What's
okay?
up? What's up? He's been here before.
What do y'all think about the Mayor's Corner? Is
That was so cool.
Yeah, that was amazing. what do you
I
guys
feel
think about it
really
over there?
smart.
In the comments.
I feel really smart. I just want to give a shout out to my mom and dad because he talked about two things that I knew already about the sewer system.
Yeah.
Because my dad worked on a sewer
Yes.
system for the county.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I know what he's
I know a
talking
little
about.
bit, I know a little
and
bit.
then,
Something.
then we provide water. You know why? Because my mom always, when them townships think they better than the city, we provide their
We
water
provide
first
their
of all.
water,
so
ladies
yeah,
and
shout out
gentlemen.
to my mom and dad for like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody in
Make
the
me feel Lisa's
comments.
in
Thank
the
you.
comments.
What's
She was
up,
giving
Lisa?
some really great
she did.
information.
If you want to appeal and you don't feel your stuff is right, there's a way to do it.
Yes.
So, you know, that's what it's all about, you know, meeting everybody where they are in all spectrums of the city, right?
Yes.
So if it's about taxes, for me, I want to get some siding, some vinyl
Yeah.
done, some stuff like that. So just meeting everybody where they are and just being able to be transparent. That's one thing I really do love about him,
Yes.
is that he is just real and raw.
He's just a real person.
Like I think I was like a little, you know, it's the mayor, so I was nervous to meet him at first. And I was helping Thomas West, and so I was just like, you know,
the truth comes out.
I love Thomas.
You were
so,
campaigning against him,
I
but
was.
now,
I was
but,
sitting
but
in the
isn't that a
street.
beautiful thing?
But
you
it is
were,
so
but
beautiful.
now that you've met him,
yes, and not that I just hated all the other candidates, right? I
Sure.
was obviously just for Thomas West.
Yeah, because you knew him.
We're out there, and we were, you know,
I
door
was
to
too.
door with them. You know,
I interviewed him, sat down one-on-one with him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sit down with any other candidates except Thomas to try to
Awesome.
get the information out
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
But now knowing Bill, it's like,
Now-
But you know what I think is really cool is that he talked about having conversations with Thomas
Absolutely.
West, and I think that's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's like they're coming together and helping the community. Like so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, just saying that too is like when we see people are running against each other, especially for office, we already like assume that they just hate each other, right?
Right.
Because sometimes that's what we see. Is, you know,
sometimes it be true.
Yeah, sometimes, especially the
But
national.
let me say this: the night that Mayor Shearer won, I am gonna mess up the name of the other guy that was running.
Willis
Do you remember?
Gordon? Or
No.
Thomas West?
No, it was another guy. But he came to Stars and hugged Thomas, and they talked about. They both didn't win.
The night that
It was Gordon. It was Thomas. It was Shearer. Was Kim Bell.
And it was the other guy.
It was Kim Bell.
Kimberly
Bell.
Yeah.
And then there was one other person.
All right. Well, you're not gonna try the name because I'm
not.
All right.
If you know what I'm talking about, you guys put it
Who else was running
in the chat. But he came to Stars and show some love, and I just thought that was really big because it's like we're both competing against each other, we're running against each other. We didn't win, but now that it's all said and done, it's like a little dap.
Yeah.
Congrats. It was a good run.
Right.
And let's continue to support each other.
Love that.
Outside of this. So Ali, shout out to Elisha with Taco Buddy. Please let him know we want some tacos.
For real.
I know. Can you call him?
Is that who it was? Serena? Oh, baby, I was off there.
Man, you didn't.
I was off.
Depew.
All right, so before we go ahead and end the show, I do, you guys seen a little sponsor spotlight come in. We are talking about sponsorship packages, okay? So as you watch the show, there are ways that you can support us. You can be a sponsor, or you can show ads and events if you have one coming up. So behind us, these are some of our sponsors. All right, these are what we call our premier sponsors. These will be the sponsors that we will show throughout the show. We will talk about them throughout the show, and they will be sponsors that you see for the entire duration. There are other tiers to our new sponsorships, so you can check those out. Again, show ads and events. So if you're having just like Marquise Watkins, right? So he had the Bra 3. They came on, but if you didn't want to come on, you can just send us like a 30-second commercial. You can send us some of your flyers, your information, and we'll put that on the show and we'll promote it how we do. We'll have fun with it. We'll talk about it and we'll let the people know what is going on, right? And we also have segment sponsors. So the Mayor's Corner is a segment. I don't think that we'll have sponsorships for those quite yet, but what we do have is our community sponsor, our community spotlight sponsor, and we also have our sports segment sponsor. We're calling it something different. What's it called? Sports Report.
Report.
The daily sports report, okay? And in that sports report earlier, I hope you guys got some information on where to send and sign your kids up for sports, okay? So there is track happening, there's softball happening, there's baseball happening, there's basketball happening, and then spring flag football.
There's girls flag football we heard about, yeah.
Spring
track.
Spring flag football is also coming up, and I always hear a lot of parents talking about where can they get their little ones involved in extracurriculars or any kind of sports activities.
So this is going to be a flyer we're putting up?
So this is a part of our sports segment. Okay. So we're going to start doing a better job and just getting better at trying to be the hub for that too. Okay. So while we're your hub for, all of, player of the week and coach of the year and just highlighting those achievements that some of our athletes are doing in the community, we also want to give you guys an opportunity to find out
how to get them started.
Yeah, get them started,
Gotcha.
right? And shout out to the BAC, Bulldog Activity Center, because they have done a great job at hitting the ground running. They opened that building and the doors have been open nonstop. They have, again, track. They have basketball. Right now, my son's doing baseball. They had lacrosse in there the other day. They have volleyball there. I mean, if you're looking for a place to sign your kids up, I would just walk in there first.
And the programs for Canton City school kids is free.
Yes. If you're in Canton City, it's free. If you are outside of Canton, I do not know how much it is, but it's definitely reasonable because the whole purpose of the BAC was to do exactly what it's doing, getting these kids involved in something. I mean, I know for me.
Your son did wrestling. I mean, he did so many things.
My son is 6 and has done wrestling. He has done T-ball. He's in basketball.
All of that there.
Well, all of these have been, again, The reason why I want to do this segment is because it's not all ag.
Okay.
It's not. I have been to First Friends.
Okay.
I have been to Canton Baptist. I have been around the city.
Okay,
But
so you're
again,
aware.
I do understand. And honestly, if it wasn't for my boyfriend and his dad, my son's dad,
MentorStark.
I probably wouldn't have known all
It's
of
hard to
those things.
find out about a lot
Right.
of these things.
He's a coach, you know, he got friends that has kids, so he just knows what's going on.
Right.
And he also, you know, plays in some men's leagues, so he's already in the churches, he already
Right.
is knowing what's going on. But if you're not, you just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to go ahead and try to be that platform for our parents out
And
there.
our partners at MentorStark are going to
Yes.
help us with that as well. They're going to also help post us at mentorstark.org as we work together with them as well to help share that
and
information.
we're also working on some partnership sponsorship packages between MentorStark and Lucas Live Media, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, awesome. We're
Yes.
excited about that.
And then the last package that we have is our traveling community sponsor. So again, I talked about that earlier. We're getting ready to get out in these streets. Getting ready to get nice.
Time to get nice.
It's
You got
getting
a
ready to
fresh
get
Friday.
nice. That's
Cruising
right.
the streets or
Well, I want to know who's in the streets.
Who's
I'm gonna be
cruising?
cruising the
Who's in the
streets.
streets?
so
And I'm
who's
going to be
in the
who's in the
streets?
streets while we
Okay.
cruising the streets. That's what we want to know.
Yes, so if you want to travel with us, right, your logo will be attached to every single reel. Oh, I'm sorry. If
A number of reels. Whatever, depending on what you
depending
sign
on what
up
package
for.
you pick. If you do the annual show package, you with us all year. But any reel that we make from any community events that we go to. So again, like next weekend, First Friday. If you can't make it down there, but you want your business and be talked about, because you know everyone's watching those reels and makers them so fun, you know. You can be on there, right? Yes. So there are some examples kind of on our page of what that looks like. I will be revamping a lot of how these look. But if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, or if you would like to just promote an event that you have, here is how you can do it. And you can contact me at Danielle@lucaslivemedia.com. And I can get you all hooked up. But I think we had a great show.
You can also contact me at olivia@mentorstark.org.
Please.
And I will add it to, or no, olivia@mentorstark. Yeah, .org, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'll add it to our website at mentorstark.org.
I love it. Perfect.
go.
Perfect. You can get it from both places, and I think it was great, Danny.
Yeah, I think
I
it
love
was
what you
great.
did today.
Thanks.
I always try to shout you out. I've been doing Lucas Live 5 years now. We're almost at our 5-year anniversary. We'll have to celebrate here soon. I want to shout out. This week was the 5-year anniversary of my mom passing. So shout out to my mom, Vivian Rosetta Tyndall, the reason this all started. And I just want to thank everybody who's been supportive. And thank you guys for helping me carry the dream forward of honoring my mom. So I just want to say that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
guys.
shout out to your mom. Shout out to the vision that you were able to receive through her. And I hope that, you know, we're making you proud.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this was another episode of Lucas Live in News. When this camera's cut off, I'm tearing these lashes off because they're hurting my eyes so bad.
you look cute.
That's
Thank
the worst.
you. I will see you guys next week on Lucas Live News. We hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to the mayor and Christian Turner for the mayor's corner today. We hope you guys enjoyed that and got some good information. If you did it, catch the replay.
Check it.
See
Shout
you
out to
guys
Carlo and
next
Latrice.
time. Yeah, shout out
Donate.
to them. Donate. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.